Hey, what's up, everyone? Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Heliopsychosis podcast. This is your host, Vikka Draziv, guys. Welcome to the show. And yes, Heliopsychosis is back. We are, we have been taking a break for more than a month, almost a month. It wasn't like we were on a beach or drinking pina colada or something like this, right? It was just a break from here, from the podcast. So, yeah, glad we are back. And yes, there's been a lot. People think that sometimes it's required, I think, to take a break or an absence bit so that the people can understand that what is there and what is not there, right? So it helps. It helps to separate. And so much of things with this whole year we have been so, yeah, it was required. It was kind of a purge, you could say, or a detox, right? But as I said, that doesn't mean you're just relaxing, because if you're having a break from this, for sure you're having a lot of other things to do, right? It's not a total break. So yeah, it's great to be back. I hope you guys are doing great. It's nice to see the people here in the chat. Yes, and hope everybody's doing awesome. And yep. Before we continue, let's say hello to my brother Tron. Tron, are you there, bro?
I'm here. How are you?
Awesome. How have you been doing?
Doing well. Doing well. I don't know why my icon didn't come up right, but here I am. Can you see me? Can you see me? Vikka?
You have your I think video off. That's why we cannot even see your uh,
You can't see my icon or nothing?
image. No, we don't
Hang,
see a thumbnail like the flat
oh, here,
map.
like this. Hello. Hang on just a second. Let me fix this stupid thing. Hang on.
No problem. And until then, let's say hello to Justin. Our brother Justin also is here. Justin, how you doing?
Howdy, howdy. How you guys doing, brothers?
Doing good.
Awesome, awesome. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. I had to reset my icon as well, Tron. So I don't know if it just had to reset
What
and
did
made
you
me
have to do?
repick it.
What did you
You have to
do?
go out. Try to go out and come again and
All
edit
right, I'll drop out
avatar.
and come back in. I'll drop back
Yep.
out. Just drop me out, then I'll come back in.
No, you have to drop it. Yeah.
Yeah, it had an option there in the StreamYard to repick it.
Oh yeah, it lets you change when you off the video camera option, it lets you change.
Right. So how you been, Vika? You take a nice little break there?
Oh yeah, this is the thing. My summer works are really long and like non-stop. So I also need a break once I finish my summer. Right, wrapping things up. Also have to prepare my office stuff for the winter. Right, so everything cannot be done. Right, we want to do everything, but yeah, sometimes it's required. As I said, it's required some time to have a pause on some things. Right,
You got
and
that right.
oh
Completely
yeah, absence
understandable.
and exactly, and it's just to absorb what has been happening from quite a while, right? The year have already passed, right? So it's awesome, yeah.
Yeah,
How about you?
awesome.
You've been doing your streams?
Yeah. It's just been trying to keep the ball rolling, man. I took last week off as well. It's like everyone needs a break every once in a while. Some longer than others, but it isn't just as important as the movement itself. We got to stay sane, and times are crazy, to say the least.
Oh yeah, and especially we here on Heliopsychosis, we were like this year we were like full on, right? So normally we do take a couple of breaks during the whole year, but
There
this
we go.
year I think we hardly didn't took any break. Yeah, so much shit was going on, so
Yeah, we got you now, Tron. Looks like you got
Yeah, I
your
fixed it.
AE app map
Yeah, I
there.
don't know what I did, but it's good to go now. All right, great.
Yeah, I think it usually saves it, but this time when I went in, it made me repick one.
Yeah, and I just went back in. I went a different. I went to my default browser. When I did it, it
Uh
fixed
huh.
it. I was going through
Gotcha.
Google before, so we're good. I'm happy,
Gotcha.
and I don't care either way. But
Yeah, so I couldn't agree more with your title here, Vika, about the it's more of a success than, than they're trying to paint the picture of, It's I think a lot of good things have come from the final experiment, the final attempt, and it's very telling and exposing. And I watch that shit all the time. I've watched hundreds of hours. I've rewatched hundreds of hours, and like you said, when you take time lapse and wait a while and then go rewatch it, you see you have a different mindset and a clearer, and vision, and the eye for detail is only getting better, with time. And it's I find even more and more shit, even just recently I'm finding more anomalies and problems with their hoax. And I will continue to do my best to expose it, because I think it's imperative for people to understand that they're willing to fake it again, because it speaks volume. It tells you everything you need to know. If they went down there to prove that it's a globe and they faked it, well, what does that tell you? It tells you one thing and one thing only, right?
Yeah, absolutely, brother. If you start digging in, or if you just have a look again, you're gonna find more shit. It's like, because
Hmm.
it's full of shit. So what else we gonna find there, right?
Right. Absolutely. And there's plenty of anomalies, that's for sure. And I keep finding shit that I never seen before as well. So I think it's important to never to put it back on the burner and always keep it in the forefront, because it really truly is very telling. That you wouldn't fake something that's real. So people need to get that through their heads. And if you conclude that they have faked it, then it tells you everything you need to know, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, there was zero science involved here, right? And that's the best part. That is the reason, as you say, the title is right. It's a huge, huge success, and we have to really thanks Will Duffy for this. Because if no, this shit show, this gatekeeping would have continued for more years, right?
Hmm.
Because small things, even small details about the people, what they were doing, the way they were behaving from these past 10 years, it all comes out together and shows us how deeply screwed the flat earth community is, to be fucking run by shields, by run
Absolutely.
by sellouts, right? It's so
Yep.
difficult
Yep. Some of them
right now,
definitely.
and it's an attack. It's an absolute attack right now. Tron, you're going to agree with me. Even on TikTok, there are people pretending to be flat earthers
Yes,
just to
absolutely.
screw around, and it's an attack.
It is. And there's a whole new crowd of younger ones coming in, so they pretend they want to know. Next thing you know, you're wasting 30 minutes. I'm on to them really fast, and I don't even mess around. If I don't mess around. If they're serious, I will talk. If they don't seem serious, they're gone. I don't play around anymore. I don't want to waste my time, because what I'm finding is there are so many people that are interested in talking for real, not these trolls, right? So I get rid of the trolls as fast as I can, because our movement is huge. We are growing big time, and many people are aware of the term of flat earth and what we're talking about. And so many people really do have questions, and what these trolls are doing is they're coming in to deflect the our TikTok lives, and those of us that do it, and then it prevents other people, because they see how we have to deal with them, right?
Hmm.
And then other people that really might have the exact same question, but because they're very serious, then they don't want to come. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I address all that when I first start my lives. I don't put up with any of it, none of it. I
Yeah.
can fish it out within 2 minutes, and they're
Yeah,
gone.
them trolls turn it into a shit show, and they're intellectually dishonest, and that's their whole intentions, in my opinion. They're over here offering, I got offered $1,000 to go debate Red's rhetoric the other day, but I'm done with debates. I'm done ascertaining intellectually dishonest people who are there just to suck the life out of the
Exactly.
totality of the movement. And another thing that I think that is really really healthy that has happened, because it exposed a lot of these fake flat earthers. And I wouldn't even know personally a lot of these people are not who they claim they are if it wasn't for the final experiment. So not only are we growing, but we're growing in quality and not quantity more so. I think it's important to really buckle down and be observant and due diligent with our discernment, because we're being shown every day that you can't trust anybody and you need to question everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with few people that, like, they come, they do their hit pieces and they disappear, right?
Yes.
It just shows that these people were put in place.
Yes, I think so. I think so. Then there's a handful of them, which I've got them all blocked. I won't even discuss. They might see me if I visit other people's panels, but when I come up and do my own stuff, they're not even allowed in. I don't even. I don't care. I don't care anymore.
Good for
And I'll
you.
call and I will blast them. They do not like me, and that's good. They don't have to like me.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm wanting to do is talk about the truth, and I will not be deterred.
Yeah.
I will speak the truth wherever I go. The best that if I'm allowed, you know what I mean. If they'll
Yeah.
let me, I will do it.
Yeah, they act like a bunch of children. We're all grown-ups here, and it's just
Exactly.
very telling that they can't just come here and have a conversation like we're having now. It's like,
Well, we
what's so
do get
hard?
them. We do get them. You'd be surprised. I get people come up all the time, very interested. I've
Right.
had like even I had just about a week ago. I had two pilots, right? Two pilots come in. And it was actually, for the most part, a cordial conversation. And I think we were getting through to one of them. That's a
Hmm.
success for me. My whole goal, my whole goal is just to answer questions, and if we can, and then steer people in the right direction where they can get the resources to study on their own. I don't expect anybody to come up on
Hmm.
some internet panel somewhere, and then all of a sudden be instant flat earthers. If they're sincere, give them the information, give them the resources so they can go study it on their own without being detracted by anybody. And if they're sincere, they're going to see the truth. And if they begin to
Hmm.
see a little bit, guess what? A little bit goes a long way. And next thing you know, they're right here with us. You know,
Yeah, it opens the door. And
absolutely, absolutely,
and you
yes.
could lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So it's important
I've
to plant
tried,
those
believe me.
seeds. It's important to plant those seeds, and that's why it's also important to get all the poison out. We're being diluted with these trolls, and that's their
Yes,
whole intentions is to come over here and get it to where even the intellectually honest don't want to be here because it's very negative.
right,
And I
right.
and I do think that flat Earth is extremely important, but at the same time, it's not really an entry level conspiracy. It's like when you have all these other things that are just as relative, because we all know the powers to be, everything leads to Rome. All the roads lead to the same avenue, and it's all connected one way or another. Our entire reality has been infiltrated by deception, and propaganda. But
Yes.
a lot of these people, if you can just talk to them honestly and have good conversations about a number of other things, whether it be rigged elections or vaccines or trafficking of children or any other, I don't
Yeah.
know. I just think that's important just as much as the flat Earth, to get them to understand who they're actually defending in the first place. Your source, the source is so non-credible it'll blow your mind, and they defend them to death.
It's
It's pretty
Yeah.
mind
unfortunate.
blowing.
It's unfortunate. But
Yeah.
Oh,
flat Earth is the gateway. I don't even like to use flat Earth. I try to say I prefer to say I'm a geocentric, flat, non-moving Earth
Hmm.
person because it covers everything and gives us a lot more to talk about other than the shape. There's a lot more to it, right? There's a lot more to the model. Geocentric is a lot
Right.
more. It's so anyway.
The shape is actually one of the lesser importance. It's the who and the why. Why'd they lie about the shape? Who lied about the shape? And where is that going to take you? The implications behind the lies are way more important than the actual shape itself. Correct?
exactly, exactly. So this is the thing, guys. With the TFE shit, this is the thing. Where we left off was Will Duffy doing the final debate and his final goodbye. That was funny as shit. I would like to go on that a bit, but before we do that, First of all, thanks for the member, JJ. Really appreciate it, brother. And this is the thing. I also wanted to play something before we get into the conversation. An awesome track. It's by PPPRX58. It's the name of the person who made it, right? So let's play that and we'll get into it, right?
Clouds where the condors fly, Machu Picchu touches sky. Stone upon stone in sacred lines, echoes of sun gods and ancient signs. But deeper than gold they map the stars, whispers of science in earthen jars. Step by step built the climb across the deserts, across all time. Not just tombs or royal thrones. These steps were maps, these stones were poems. All around the world they rise, secrets carved beneath the skies. Oh, the step monuments stand so tall, but they're we barely know at all. Saqqara stares in desert breath, first of kings but not of death. More than a grave for the soul to pass, it measured time like a cosmic glass. Remain sharper, hidden yet just as vain, aligned with stars not built in haste. These steps were clocks in a spiral race. Step by step they built the climb, through sands, through jungle, through frozen time. Not just temples to the dead, but blueprints of what the ancients said. From Mexico to Giza's wall, the story hides behind it all. Oh, the step monuments call our name, but their real truth, it's not just fame. Borobudur, sacred maze, each terrace sings a prayerful phrase, and anchors, towers touch the trees, roots and stones in quiet peace. In China's hills the tombs still sleep, guarded by soldiers buried deep. But were they maps or messages of ancient minds and presences? Chichen Itza, shadow snake, serpent god for heaven's sake. But tilt the light and look again, it's math and sun, it's mind and men. Teotihuacan so vast, so wide, a mirrored sky where secrets hide. No written tale, no king to name, just steps that burn with starlit flame. Step by step, through dust and flame, the ancients carved the world's own name. Not for glory, not for pride, but to hold the truth they saw inside. Structures tall, yet minds more wide. Truths in stone they could not hide. Oh, the step monuments watch and wait, guardians stairs. Remember who once breathed the air. Now God's not myths, but minds so vast. They saw the future in the past.
Oh yeah, the ancients were awesome,
Yeah,
right?
that's pretty good. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, the things they have built and which reflects the beauty and the sacred geometry of this intelligent design can be seen in this architect everywhere and the way they align to the cosmos, right? That's the real proof of what this realm is, right? No mathematical formula, pseudoscience, nothing. Real maths, real science applied in all this ancient, amazing engineering. Even today, they cannot freaking do it, right? And they
Hmm.
want to call primitive to these people, right? Even I heard Tron the other day, some of these globers saying, no, the ancients were using rocks and this and that. What the fuck? You have been
I
given the
know. I
history.
don't. I don't think we know how they did this stuff. We can't do it today. It's amazing. Some of these structures. It's like wow. Something they knew something we didn't know. That's for sure.
Yeah, the future is definitely the past when it comes to advanced architectural design. That's for sure.
Well, we're not as. I agree. We're this idea that we are so smarter today than like hundreds of years ago or 1,000 years ago or farther back. I don't think that's true. Um, we might have some type of technology, but they had a lot more going on a long time ago than we realize, in my view. A lot, they were much smarter. They could do a lot more. And I still don't think we really know. You know,
I-
we're
I'm with
just
you
now finding. We're
100%.
just now finding out.
Yeah, it could go a lot deeper than we even anticipate with as far as longevity of life and the health of the humans and because a lot of these buildings were actually healing centers and not churches, cathedrals, and all this nonsense that they tell us, and they always leave that truth right there in our faces as well, and I think it's to justify that it's our ignorance that got us here and they didn't do any wrong is my theory. Because if anybody knows God exists, it's the people that are hiding them from us, and they are the culprits in that manner. And I do believe that it's all by design, and it's all about just reverse engineering everything, and getting us to be complacent and ignorant is their best weapon, and they've done a very good job of it
I think you're right. Yeah, we are our most ignorant people today, I must say. And
by design. Yeah,
I'm learning more and more myself. I don't know everything, nor have I ever said I did. And I'm learning myself. I'm still learning more
yeah,
and checking things out, and so it's been a very interesting
right,
in my journey here through all this information.
right.
Oh yeah,
And knowing
absolutely. Oh yeah, go ahead, Justin.
just knowing that being wrong is better than being right. A lot of the times you learn more from being wrong. It's a part of being human, and just the fact that you can learn to think for yourself is the major achievement. The highest form of learning today is being able to unlearn and think for yourself. I think that's the best ticket to growing and just being more intellectually honest with the reality that we live in.
Well, there are a group of people that know everything, and they're called globers, globies. Have you ever noticed? They know everything, right? They know everything until they realize they don't. And then I'm
But
I'm
we get fed up, Tron. Same parroting every day about the same thing, same questions, right? Repeating the same thing. Uh, there's nothing new they're bringing to the table. It's worse. They're going more back to the basics. The more we debunk them, they go more back.
Hmm.
It's not
exactly
they're advancing in their questions or in their contra argument.
right.
They want to debunk flat Earth, but they don't want to prove the globe. What
Right.
the
Exactly.
fuck is this? Prove your fucking globe.
Right. Which
See,
was the positive claim in the first place. It
right.
requires the burden of proof. You know, they shift the burden is all they do. And we're in 2025. If you can't bring in some good evidence to support your claims by now, why are we even ascertaining it? That's why I won't debate nobody, because
I
they're
don't
not in
either.
it for the right reasons, man. They have their ill intent.
I agree. I'll tell you what I do now. I'll tell you what I've been doing for some time because it works. Because there's nobody that can get around it. This is advice for everybody. Study the motion of the earth, or should I say the lack of the motion of the earth. Learn Michelson Morley. I mean, really learn it, and then learn what Einstein had to say about it, and learn what Charles Towns had to say about it, and Henry Poincare, and all these people that I always bring up because all these globies come in. I've had professors come on my panel. At least they said they were that taught physics, and I stump them all. Not because I'm smarter than them, but because I studied more than they did, and I just throw it right at them. And
Yeah.
nobody can ever prove the following question. I ask, do you believe the earth is in motion? The globies always say, yes, they do. I say, name one physicist or scientist that has ever measured the speed of the
No.
motion of the earth orbiting the sun. And they all fall apart. Every
Mhm.
last one of them, 100% of the time.
Well, you're coming from a place of logic, and they come from a place of regurgitation. You know,
Right.
in order to succeed in their field, all they have to do is repeat what they're told, and they'll pass with flying
Right.
colors. In fact, if they don't regurgitate it very well, they'll probably get in trouble and get their ass whooped and fail, and all kinds of repercussions
Probably
for.
so, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's a threat not to comply, be in complete compliance and regurgitation of their indoctrination. And that's
Right.
one of the most rewarding things about this journey is learning to think for yourself, you know. And like I said, even being wrong isn't the end. It's more of a learning curve than being right, you know, because that's where you're gonna use them as stepping stools and grow from your mistakes. And that's what the Globers lacked is you know, just being honest and logical. It's pretty
Right.
mind blowing.
Well, I like to say I like to talk science because everybody's talking science, and I say let's talk science right now. Let's talk. They know nothing when it comes to the topics I just mentioned. They know nothing, and then they hurry up and do a Google search, and they think that they know something. And then I'm telling you, if people would just study this, you will own every one of them, including the greatest physicists on earth, won't know what to say. Well,
Exactly,
maybe
we
not
are
the
Tron,
greatest
Tron, and
ones.
also the geologists or the other guys who were showing up on some of the live, right? No
Yeah,
matter what kind of diploma or degree or PhD or specialty you have, you cannot defend your fake globe, right?
true, exactly.
Right.
And I put it back on them. I don't mind. I love talking science. Let's
Oh yeah.
talk about it. Prove prove, and they can't even name one scientist. We're not one. Or then they'll Google. I know they're googling and they'll say Foucault. I love Foucault. I mean, many people don't realize that Foucault's pendulum. What a joke that was. George Aries. This is for everybody that's listening. George Aries of Aries failure. If you study this, he himself was a contemporary of Foucault. He thought that Foucault's pendulum was a fraud. There, that's some information. Y'all put that in your pipe and smoke it and go study it out. See, people don't know these things, but I've studied it. They don't get it, man. They think they can Google something and I Googled something. Well,
Hmm.
I spent years looking at it. Let's compare notes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's number one reason why we don't appeal to credentials in the first place, you know. And when you tap into that and understand why we don't, it's very telling of how dishonest these people are to as a totality.
Exactly, and the way these people are behaving and the way things are coming out shows how much of a big problem flat Earth or geocentric or the true Earth is for these people, right? And imagining this priest or Saint Duffy coming to save the globe Earth, right? And coming and taking all these people and doing some shit, and now he's like, that's what I was saying about the debate. You know, I just saw a few things here and there about his debate. I don't remember a lot, but I remember one of the guy named Chad. He was awesome. He was fucking calling him out, right? Another other was Geocentric from TikTok was also there, uh, trying to tell him the reality. That's what I remember from uh, from the debate. Justin, you have any highlights you remember from his?
I intentionally didn't ascertain too much of it. I did want to see who was there, so I did watch a little bit of it. I think that a lot of it was set up with, once again, fake flat earthers. I think it's incredible that you're going to hold money as a ransom, that you're going to not donate money if flat earthers don't come. So you're basically blackmailing the human trafficking donations for you're just putting a clause up against it. I think that was pretty evil of Mr. Duffy to ascertain. He's got the money, but he's not going to give it unless flat earthers show up, which nobody wants anything to do with them. If you're a liar and you've been proven as a dishonest person, then why would anybody even ascertain? He expects everybody to just jump over there because you bring children into it. That's called fear mongering 101, and they like to play with the heartstrings. So it's just important for people to be diligent about what their motives and their tactics are. Once you know the enemy, they use the same playbooks over and over, and you can't unsee it. It's very obvious. And that's why when shit like Charlie Kirk happens, the real truthers, the real people, they're not going to buy into their narratives, and I'd rather be wrong than trust these people straight up.
Oh yeah,
Yep. Yep. Can you guys hear me? Somebody in the chat said I
You're
sounded
just
a
a
little.
little low. I could hear you just fine. You're just a little
oh
low.
yeah, I hear you fine here too.
All right. Well, because I was thinking maybe it's my device or something, but yeah, I tuned in briefly to watch that stupid debate, and I couldn't stand it because it was obvious to me. Now there was a couple of good people that got up there, but man, some of them were like, man, they couldn't have picked the worst flat Earth
Hmm.
representatives. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Some of these people, I'm like, whatever. But there was some good ones that went up and said something, but it was all a joke.
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah,
wouldn't have
massive. Many
participated.
most of the people really knew also, right? So that was crazy stuff too.
Oh yeah. I do like that Tomb of Illumination. I like to check into him. He's pretty in depth, and it kind of gets you lost there, a little bit just by how it's a lot of math and a lot of whiteboard, but he
Oh yeah,
definitely
and the
gets
other
my
guy
attention.
was, yeah, the other guy also was Steven Alonso. I think he's very favorite of Mr. Will Duffy, and I think he also is fan of Will Duffy, and vice versa, because uh, Steven Alonso was here a few times on this chat too or in this live, and you don't want to see that it could be faked or it is faked, right? Because he's even before these people go that he was showing on a flat earth the 24-hour sun and all this stuff, and the way these people are behaving with the questions when he was there in Antarctica, now with the debate. So looks quite fishy, right? Because just because you have an app and you are saying there could be a 24-hour sun and you explain it doesn't mean it has to be true.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
in question what. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, it's important to rely more on your God-given attributes. They want us to hand dismiss all your senses, and that's very not a good idea. These are divine senses that we have, and when you really dive into them and use them, your discernment is key, and it's powerful, and you see who's who a lot easier, and it's like. Um, because like Alonzo, I've seen a lot of bad things. He's allegedly, got this school and he's a professor, or whatever he wants to claim is fine. But, and at the end of the day, I don't trust anybody. We don't need to trust people. All you got to do is do the due diligence and use real science, and things that are demonstrable, observable, measurable, testable instead of taking opinions, but, it's obviously all just a scripted show, just like everything else is. It's like I said, they like to use the same playbook. So if you're just into flat Earth, it's a lot harder to see. But if you've been in this game for a long time and just the whole ride of this false reality that they paint for us, it's very easy to see. And I don't know. I don't trust nobody anymore. The final experiment really woke us up to A lot of uncomfortable truth, that a lot of the people that we grow attached to and over the years you end up trusting doesn't mean they're not capable of being compromised.
Oh yeah, and could be that it was always the case right from the beginning. Because when we are now seeing the big picture, JJ, you can literally see how the community was being played by these people, right?
Uh-huh.
Jaren was crying about his subscribers, and because it's all more than half were bots, Jaren. That's why you are screwed. Apart from the flat earthers who are following you, who are gone, right? The few
Right.
globers you have got, the rest are bots. That is the reason you came up,
Yeah. And I
right?
think it's a huge red flag for that whole 24-hour sun, because let's look at this, from a outside perspective. And once you understand, they've already faked the 24-hour sun in the past. That's why we're here in 2025 trying to prove it. It's like they got caught faking it. You would never fake something that was real in the first place. So before they even went, most of us already knew that the shenanigan was at play. It's very obvious. So they're just going to go try to fake it again, the final attempt, the final excuse. So I don't know. I think that it's very problematic when people try to push a 24-hour sun. I think it's just obfuscation and diluting, just trying to get everybody divided, because half of us aren't believing in it. Half of us are subscribing. Oh, well, there is a 24-hour sun, but it's still flat. All these other assertions are just more
Yeah.
division, in my opinion. I
Just
think
call it
it's
for what it was, the fake experiment.
that's all it
It's
was,
all
and we've seen it.
crap.
We've seen
Yeah,
them
but the
fake it
question,
before.
yeah, guys, but the question is now what the fuck Witsit is telling to the people? Okay, there's a 24-hour sun on a flat earth, right? A hater of AE map himself, right?
Yeah,
That there is a 24-hour sun. That means there's a fucking South Pole where he went, right? Yes, Austin? Is it like that,
right. Nah, he's
right?
playing his
If you're
part,
saying,
man.
exactly. If he's saying there's a 24-hour sun and he saw it by himself, so he's also saying there's another South Pole and only South Pole that where these people went. So tell
Right,
tell to the people, preach now your new
right.
modified version of flat Earth, just because you want people to believe that what you guys saw was true. Go ahead, brother JJ.
With the due diligence that I've done and the research that I've done, I've looked over hundreds of hours, and I'll continue to. I watch that shit every day and just rewatch, and I noticed that that obviously it was faked, and I could prove it. That I don't even think Union Glacier even exists, because what I did was I went and looked at everything that's not related to the final experiment, like all their marathons, their skydiving events, all these nonsensical bullshit. There's never any frost on their glasses, never any frost on the windows or any of the tents. They never have any breath. They never have any runny noses. They never have raccoon eyes. This is the coldest place on earth. They're in 10-degree weather, no gloves, taking their shirts off. I've proven with all these marathons. Go look at every marathon that you can find that's ever happened in Union Glacier, and you'll see that Mount Rossman is fake as fuck. Okay, that place isn't even real. I think that the whole place is a hoax, in my opinion, and it's not just coming out of left field. I have plenty of documentation and due diligence to back what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The whole
Full
place
of
is
fakery.
shenanigans. The whole place, not just the sun, the entire location. And the Antarctic Treaty isn't a joke. That's not a hoax. And when we say you can't independently explore, that has implications behind it. It's not just because we want the Earth to be flat. It's because they're gatekeeping. And the fact that you think anybody can think that, oh, you could go and run a marathon there or go watch the sun yourself. I'm tired of hearing that. Wake the hell up, dude. I mean, don't you see the writings on the wall? I mean, are you that, lazy to do the due diligence? Because the truth is always in your face somewhere. You just can't be lazy. You have to go fight for the truth, man. Fight for it. Nothing's free, including truth. You have to fight. So here
Oh
we
yeah.
are.
Oh yeah, and these people were not just taken because of the pretty face or because of a bit of influence these people had, right? There
Yeah,
are
I'm just
things that we don't, uh, right, full get or want to get it now to what could be all behind this, right? The picture could be like much more bigger. That, as you guys are saying, as you are saying too, Jay, like it's very difficult to fucking trust anybody, as I'm saying to Tron
Yeah.
too, right? Uh,
Yeah.
there were
I,
doubts before, but
yeah.
yeah.
Trust is going to be your downfall. I think that trust is a word that you shouldn't use. I think that we're going to meet a lot of Mike-minded people, Mike-like people, whatever the hell you say it.
Like
I don't know
minded.
why there you go. I don't know why I'm struggling with that one. But anyway, really ultimately it's a solo journey, and we're gonna, get a lot of people together that feel the same way and have come to the same conclusions. But at the end of the day, trust is a very dangerous place. That's what I've learned. You don't want to trust anybody, and that doesn't mean they're right or wrong, or that you don't believe what they're saying, or keep what they're saying, but you need to do your due diligence on anybody. You can't just have blind faith, or you have to be very awake and do the work, man.
Exactly, and the people who have eyes to see have been seeing already from a very long time, who has been doing dicey and fishy stuff, and who are more or less going for the truth, right? The people
Mhm.
who have eyes to see are seeing it, right? This was just a catalyst to tell and show the people, like, what the fuck, hey, wake the fuck up, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, it's so important because I think learning fallacies are one of the biggest takes that I've ever, one of my biggest growing moments was learning what fallacies are, because when you're being fallacious, your arguments become moot and you have no legs to stand on if you're going to be fallacious. And the truth of the matter is, you cannot claim you live on a globe, a sphere, without being fallacious, and that's just reality. And it's like Witsit helped me a lot with learning fallacies, and then he comes back and he's one of the most fallacious people all of a sudden. It's pretty telling. And a lot of his people that still listen to him are like, "Oh, I've known Witsit for 10 years. He's never steered me wrong or lied to me. He would never. Why do you think he's lying?" It's like, well, that's, once again, it's a fallacy. I mean, anybody could lie to you for any amount of time and then turn on you tomorrow, or be compromised or sold out or threatened. There's other, variables that your just hand is missing here. So it's important to understand what fallacies are and who is using them and why they're using them.
oh
It
yeah,
tells.
absolutely,
Yep.
brother.
Yeah.
Because if you are being a part of a psyop, right, where the so-called the three flat earthers who went there, two flipped, and one is pretending that he's not flipped and wanna put out his own agenda that he learned from there. So, right, you are
Right.
part of the psyop, bro. Even if you think you are telling you're the most honest and the truthful, everything around you shows what the fuck is happening. The people
Hmm.
didn't buy it, right?
Right. Yeah, and he also was very famous for saying the truth doesn't fear investigation, and then the second you try to investigate the truth, it's like, here we are.
Attacking.
Yeah, you're a piece of shit, you're a traitor, and it's like every name in the book, they treat you like you're a glober all of a sudden if you want to question them. It's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
telling.
you were not selected because of the pretty face. You went there and you wanted to give proof, so people are gonna ask questions. You didn't answer any questions. You guys were just running around the bushes, right? Showing us
Hmm.
bullshit, right? Coming up with fake shit, and people were more entertained in that. You never gave us the data, right?
Right.
So,
Exactly.
and what were you expecting after this, right? You know very well, and he knew very well that what Jaren is going to be doing too, right? And the other ones. These people were all a part of this whole documentary that they want to take out. All the ones who are flipping are part of the documentary, right?
Yeah.
There where
Yeah.
we have to see the big picture, that the people have to understand the big picture, right? Well, first example, yeah, Mr. Robbie Davidson, guy, yeah, who's
Yep. Yep.
a
I know who
flat
you're talking
earther,
about. Yep.
yeah, a flat earther doing conferences, right, making money off flat earth, the first time I heard his name, he was already doing a conferences, right? In those conferences, they were doing hit pieces in the conferences, right? With the Logan Paul and the other people, right? Always to make Flat Earth look ridiculous and making money out of it, right? And trying to control the narrative, right? In the name of the truth, in name of the Bible, in the name of Jesus, whatever is the other excuse,
Yep.
right?
Oh yeah.
That
They
is
use
just
those
one.
things, yeah. It's
Yeah,
all
go ahead.
weaponized. You know, everything's weaponized, you know. It's all that's how they get people by the heartstrings, you know. They either use the Bible card or the children or those are things that we have to watch out for. And when they play that card, it's telling in itself, in my
You know,
opinion.
the older flat Earth people, when this stuff first really started getting started, was back in the 1800s. You know, Samuel Robotham and different people I could bring up. They were very serious about their research, and many of them did invoke the Bible and God, and they never flipped. They stayed straight. They stayed steady. They had the truth, and we still have those books today on their research. So we know that they were genuine, but they were really genuine. And I don't know what's happening with people today, but not everybody's genuine, and it's just a shame, you know.
Yeah.
Because the only thing I ever wanted to do is just look at the truth. That's it.
E-
Me. That's all I'm doing.
Exactly. And you guys think that Robbie Davison flipped because he saw Will Duffy's ultimate proof? No, he was fucking
No,
up planned right from the beginning.
you got that right.
Yep. I
100%.
agree.
Yeah. That goes with any of them, because we've seen the evidence that they claim that is just like all their other proofs and evidence of the globe. It's like they all get debunked and they try to use them 20 years later, like boats going over the curve or just any type of ignorance that it's already been debunked. That was their proof back in the day. Well, how did you claim it was proof in the first place if it was debunkable? So I don't like the word proof to begin with. It might be evidence to support what's proof and what's not, but it takes a lot of evidence to support what is proof, in my opinion. But it
Everything.
just shows their colors, their true colors. They're desperate and they're reaching for, anything to be right, not what's true, but to be right, and accepted as being true, whether it is or isn't. That's all they're in it for.
Go
On
ahead,
the
Sean.
same
What were
boat.
you saying?
I was going to say that Eddie Alencar called it out, right? Several months before the whole stupid TFE, right? He said people were going to flip, right? He knew it. He knew that something was wrong. So, people were seeing early on that this is all a bunch of bull crap, It's all bull crap. This whole TFE is crap.
Right. It's not our first rodeo. We have past experiences of catching them faking it before,
Exactly.
So that's why before they even went, it's like, first of all, why are you complying? Why are you advocating and playing along with the power that bees experiment in the first place? Like, what happened to credibility? Is there such thing anymore? Because you lied to me once and that's your bad. You lied to me
Well, look,
twice and that's my bad.
they said early on that they were going to wherever they went to make a movie. Remember? Who remembers Jonathan? Remember Jonathan, this late comer
Yeah.
film guy that's supposed to be a flat earther, right? I spoke with him a couple times at length on the TikTok, and he was the most dumbest flat earther ever. He didn't know anything. Claimed he was a flat earther for 8 years, didn't know the first thing. I mean,
Yeah.
he didn't know anything. Zero. I'm like, I told him, I said, I don't think you're a flat earth. I think you're a phony. I actually had to tell him that because you don't sound like one. And the whole thing, he tried to get all chummy and come on panels and stuff. You don't hear from him now, do you? Where's he at? You never see him ever. But he was coming up regularly, okay? And he's been gone for months because he got exposed, in my view, okay? And they were going down to make some sort of film, and I guess they're going to do something at. I don't know if they're going to do anything. Are they going to do anything with it, Vika? I don't think they're going to do anything.
Oh yeah,
Where's
somebody
the
asked
film?
him. Somebody asked him a question to Duffy in one of his live. What happened with Jonathan and what he's gonna do with the documentary and what is gonna be the theme of the documentary? And he was like, "Oh, I don't know. It's up to him. Okay, you finance it, Duffy. So what is gonna be the outcome of the documentary? Right? The Earth is flat for sure.
Yeah, that
Let's say
I doubt
let's
it.
say hello. Yeah, let's say hello to our brother Psychedelics.
Yes.
Yo, how are you, brother? Long time no see. How you doing? How you doing?
Good to see you guys. Yeah, I seen the link, man. I just decided to come and hop in and say hello to you guys. Today was actually I was supposed to go to the Entheogenic Festival here in Michigan, in Ann Arbor, Michigan, but it kind of rainy today, so I had to skip out on it. It's the 5th annual festival for psychedelic research, which is why I'm wearing the hat here. But the weather is not that good, so I decided to stay home. So I've seen the link, so I decided to come in and say what's up to you guys. Been missing you guys, so hope everyone's
Nice, brother. Yeah, entheogenic, really nice. That's like connecting the soul, right? It's required. Oh yeah. Nice to see you back. Yeah, awesome videos, brothers. The last uploads are amazing too. Yeah, all the uploads are amazing, but quite in detail, right? It's a flat out 2.0 or 3.0, right? It's not right. It's not for beginners, right? So awesome. Also say hello, let's say hello to our co-host Gene. Gene, how are you, brother? Where are you?
Hey, what's up, bro? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Gene, we can hear you.
Awesome. What's up, guys?
Good to see you, Gene.
Yeah, you too.
Nice.
Good to meet you, Psych.
Who's
pleasure
that?
to meet you,
Justin?
Justin.
It's a pleasure, brother.
Same here. Thanks, man. Welcome to the show. Yeah, sorry, I'm a little out of breath. I thought I had another 20 minutes before the show was going to start, so sorry about that, guys.
No worries. How you doing? Huh? How was your trips and everything?
It was a great summer, man. You know, I missed you all, of course. I had some good, nice 10-day trip. We went, like on a road trip, saw a few things. That was fun. The garden didn't do that great this year, but that's all right, I wasn't able to put a lot of attention to it, so I wasn't too surprised. But no, I had a nice summer, man. And today's the last day of summer, so welcome to spring, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. Yeah, good to be here. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, autumnal equinox, right? It's
Oh
happening
yeah.
right now.
And the eclipse is going on right now, right? Psychedelic?
Yep, the eclipse and new moon is coming up. We're right at that conjunction point.
Nice. Yeah. I think it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They're calling it. That's it. Spring is officially here.
This year just flew by, man.
It's crazy, man.
It's insanity.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like just a couple months ago it was January, February.
Right when they were down in Antarctica.
Antarctica.
Yeah, right.
Man, I'll tell you what, I could use some fall weather here. It's like 93 degrees where I'm at.
Mm.
Oh boy.
Whoa,
see
John, where are you?
Florida.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So
I
it
know.
doesn't really get that. So around this, what's the coldest it gets for you guys in Florida? I'm curious. Like,
Well,
even
I'll tell you what, in my part of Florida, I live in the Northwest area. We had snow last year, but that was the
Wow.
first time in like 30 years. It could get down in the 20s, but it doesn't last. It's just we get an Arctic blast or whatever that blows down.
Yeah.
But normally I can almost always wear shorts, even in the
Yeah.
even in the winter where I live, almost always.
Geoengineering is a hell of a drug, right?
Yeah.
Now down in the southern part of the state, it's different. If it might get down to around 50 when it gets really cold, and they're freezing to death down there.
Very interesting. Yeah, I've never been to Florida. I've always wondered what it was like during the wintertime over there.
Yeah, it blew
Depends
my
which part of
mind
what part of
when
the
you
state?
first.
I'm sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
my bad. You're good. I'm just saying, like, it blows my mind when you look at an AE map and how much sense it makes sense with the local sun, how it goes right over the bottom. The hottest places in the United States are like the southern, where it goes over Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, SoCal. Well, it just so happens those are all your hot spots in the nation. And how much sense does that make with a local sun? It's just mind blowing. You know,
Sure it does.
migrating local sun on an AE map. And, you know, the fact that they want to get rid of that AE map so bad and part of the TFE was to discredit it tells me you're over a target even more. You know, they say go left. I'm running right. I
Yeah.
don't even care if I'm wrong.
You know, speaking of that, Justin, I'm glad you brought that up because it doesn't. I was thinking about this. It doesn't matter what happens. Like people can live wherever they want. You know, with all of the different projections of the world we live in, it doesn't matter what TFE did. People are going to live wherever they want. Wherever it's the imagination that creates our reality. So it's not gonna change. You know, there's so many different ways that the map, the so-called map, can be projected. We're still going to live on wherever we imagine it to be, which is going to be the AE projection. You know, it's not going to change anything, in my opinion.
Yeah. Obviously, we can't fully go full anything with any map because there's deception everywhere you look. But to me, that's the most, you know, plausible consideration of any map that we've been shown to date. You know, it just makes a lot. It just fits well. You know, it makes a lot more sense, and you don't have to hand dismiss your your ability to have you know, senses.
And these people are attacking. These people are attacking the AE map because it's a quite an amazing map. That is the reason these people are attacking it. Right? It's not the most perfect, but it's much more better than the globe. And exactly. And first of all, a map is not really proving the shape, right? Because these people are still speaking about no, the flat Earth need a map or another map than a AE, right? It's nothing like that. The accuracy of this map is beyond, because even Monte Urbano map, these are, as I said, these are just a reference maps of older sources. There are many other maps. Even there's a map from the time of the so-called Colon when he went to the Americas, the real map, right? And Pyrie Rice map. There are many other hundreds of other maps, ancient maps, which shows what the true geography of the earth is, right? So our map is not really going to change anything. We don't need a better version. Maybe if we guys know about the extra lands, and that's extra. That's right. That's why it's extra. But the known world we know about, it's quite accurate.
Yeah, bro. I remember, Vikka, we were doing a show about the maps a while back. And I was like, I refuse to get into the map wars because we really don't know. So, you know, not that one is as good as another one.
It's hard
But-
to verify. It's hard to verify all the maps, right? It's difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, the land masses are much easier to verify than the gaps in between. You know, like we can't validate what's out there in the middle of these damn oceans, and when
Right.
you fly over them, we're not watching, you know, the gauges and knowing how fast they're going. So we're at the mercy of what they tell us. So yeah,
I think
And all of it is.
I
They, you
think
know,
that.
they give. I'm sorry.
I'm
Go ahead,
sorry.
bro.
Well, I was going to say, you see the icon I got, right? My little flat Earth icon. There's a lot of water up there. We don't know. For all we know, there may be lands right there. They find land
Exactly.
all the time, islands all over the place. So who
Mhm.
knows what's in these big, vast stretches, even on like a Gleason map. I think there's land out there we don't know
I
about.
do too.
That's my personal
I
opinion.
do too. Yep. I think there's land that's even on the world that we have projected. I think there's hidden continents. You know, there's so many,
Oh,
so many
sure.
islands out there that they could just take off. You know what I'm saying?
I think so. I think so because there's too much available water. I know that sounds silly, but it's just my personal opinion. I can't really give you any hardcore evidence, but it's just my personal opinion that I think there is personally. There's stuff out there because they keep finding it, or they say they find it. They keep revealing an island here and an island there, and even on like Google Maps and bullcrap like that, there is definite issues. Have you looked? There's definite issues where you can see that things ain't right. Things ain't right. They're purposely making it look like all it is water. And I think that
Exactly, brother. I think that is one of the main reason is because of the extra lands is they put in the globe, right? Because it's like before they used to say to the people that the earth is flat, but if you go, you're gonna fall off the edge, right? So the people were still fucking going and exploring, and they didn't fall off the edge. Maybe they saw the ice wall, right?
Yep.
So they had to change the narrative. If not, the people were going to continue, right? It's very, we have to be ignorant, because even in the globe world, heliocentric world, they say, oh, you have to be ignorant to think you are the alone, right? So the same thing with the flat earth. It's very ignorant to think that we are the only creation and the only three-dimensional creation, what we see and the world and the is physical. No, this realm is magical, and there are things that you cannot perceive. You have to be on the right frequency to perceive things what exist right in front of your eyes or through you, right? So the whole concept of globe earth is to hide what is beyond. One of the main thing, apart from the creator and many other aspects to it, is because
100%.
of this. They used to say to the people before that the earth is flat, but don't go and explore, because you're going to fall off the edge. Because the globe is a imaginary prison, right? You're
It
going to
makes
go
people
anywhere,
feel
you're going to
safe.
come back. So no Indiana Jones. Go ahead,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Makes people feel safe. You know, it's kind of like how you said it's like a prison, but at the same time, when people grow up in that illusionary mindset, it's sort of like, oh, this is all we have. This is there's nothing else besides this. We're
Yeah.
safe.
We're
you know?
overpopulated
Yeah,
and running out of everything.
exactly. And I think it goes back to what you guys were saying earlier a little bit was, you know, how they were trying to debunk the AE map and you say it's outdated, but I mean, you know, these globers are coming on and saying that flat Earth is a psyop, but little do they know is that everything originated from that mindset. It's no psychological operation. That was the way that the world was perceived from the beginning, from Claudius from the Ptolemy descriptions of what he.
Default, yeah.
So it's not even a psyop. It's just a matter of fact of people are just ignorant and naive to the history and the lore of Earth itself, in my opinion.
Well, that's why it's important too to understand more than just the shape of the earth, because when you understand that you've been reset, it really gets your mind thinking differently, you know, because if they had technology that existed where they could travel via the air, like airships and stuff like that, well, then it's a lot less likely than your ancient dumb retarded flat earther, you know, ancestors used to think it was flat because they couldn't get anywhere or travel very far. But in my opinion, you know, they had all the technology to travel far distances, and they would never have thought that they lived on a
Sure.
globe.
That's just
You
part
know,
of the
they
heritage.
almost had to. You know, how did they get like things like what are they, the Nazca lines? How'd they line up stuff like the pyramids? How are some of those, you know, the buildings lined up to where they are? They line up with the stars, line up with each other.
The
They had to have.
pyramids. Yes, that's probably the best example, Gene, is that there's no possible way that the heliocentric model could be explained with it doesn't connect with the fact that
Yeah.
those stars line up with the pyramids. I mean, it's just obvious. I mean, globers just ignore that fact and they laugh at it, which is ridiculous.
No, they strung lines and squared it off.
There's no possible way that the heliocentric model could exist for eternity without
Right.
those truths. Those are geological truths that they just
Yeah.
ignore.
Right.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
bro.
Yeah.
It's referencing the cosmos, guys. Every structure that exists on this plane, that on the surface that we know of, is some way or the other is aligning to the true sacred or ley lines of this earth. Above, in the ether, in the physical sky, on the surface, under the ground, and so on. Right?
Yeah, it's all like sacred geometry, and our ancestors knew it way better than we did. You know, when it comes to documenting the celestials and, you know, and understanding, that's where we get time from, and the sky's the clock, and, you know, to hand dismiss their intelligence is absolutely ignorant. You know, and they want us to think these people were just dumb flat earthers is pretty telling in itself. You know.
Yeah, well, you know that other side that comes after us, they're rewarded for that ignorance, and it's a feel good zone for everybody over there. You know,
The
where
feel
they're
good
all
zone. Yep, it makes people feel secure.
yeah,
Got everything figured out. But when you have
experts are
when you
working on it.
have a psychedelic mindset, all that stuff falls apart.
Yeah.
And what the ancients left for us starts to become more true. And it doesn't stop there. I still feel like it's a never-ending dilemma of the cosmos.
Yeah. Don't
Exactly.
forget,
And
guys, we did that documentary, The Mechanical Realm, and that's about what we're talking about right now. How these guys back in the day knew so much more than us, and life was like just such a different place than what we can probably even think. The way they project things versus what we gotta, weed through the garbage they try to feed us and really figure out what was going on. I think that place was just a wonderful world that they had, and I think we're all kind of longing for that again.
I
With that,
think one of their main motives is to reverse engineer everything because when God made this place, He put us in a very safe environment. You're not running out of water, you're not running out of air, you're not running out of food, and you don't have to worry about meteors or solar flares or aliens or all these other things that they put you in this scare tactic world ideology, and it's just so that you have to need them to keep us safe. It's all a trick
Facts.
to
and they
get us
don't
to
even keep us
comply.
safe, man.
They
That's
don't.
the
They
thing
don't. It's
too,
just
though.
an illusion,
Yeah,
and that's
they
a
enhance
reason to
it.
take all your money so they can, you know, invest it into, looking into where this asteroid's headed. It's like, okay, cool.
Facts, man. Oh my goodness. And I've been making some videos on TikTok going with what you just said, Justin, about the things we see in the sky. I subscribe to the explanation that we're just basically seeing the recycling of the energies of the geology of the earth, and it's such a way different mindset when instead of thinking that those things could be potential dangers to the earth. I really don't think that anybody has anything to worry about when it comes to that stuff. I think it's just more fear mongering and
100%.
more part of the control. And when someone can adopt that geocentric mindset, we're just seeing the beauty of it all, of this
Right.
recycling of energy back and forth.
Right. Everything's frequency and energy. Everything, and they
Hey,
knew that. Our ancestors knew that.
Vika, Tron here. Hey, I hate to do it. I got a prior obligation. I'm going to have to leave, but thanks for letting me come up, hang out with everybody, and good to talk to everybody. I've got to drop, man. I hate to go, but I got to go.
Much
Appreciate
love,
you
right,
coming,
Tron.
brother.
Tron, good to see you, bro.
Take
See you
care,
guys
brother.
around. Thank you
Thanks,
now.
man.
Bye
See
bye,
ya.
all.
Hey,
Okay.
Psych, you got a YouTube channel, Psych?
Yes, I have. I'm on YouTube. I don't know if I can get it in the chat here. I haven't
no,
been
write a
late.
comment and he can follow. He go to the channel directly, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
Right.
yeah.
just type
I'll write
anything.
my name in
Yeah.
there and then just search me up because I haven't been posting on there lately. I've been more active on Instagram, TikTok, and
Instagram.
Facebook.
Gotcha.
But yes, I do want to follow you and we can connect.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'll drop my link also as well.
Definitely, guys.
All right. See, so before we continue with the meteor and all this stuff, also we can discuss a bit psychedelic. I wanted to play this. We were speaking about the AE map just a bit. I hope it sounds. Wait.
degrees, -3, 1825. You see 0, 15, it is at 18. So 15, then it goes to 30. So in between 15 and 30 is 18. 0, 15, 18, 45. So this line is 45. We need to subtract about 12, giving us Cape Town, New York. You cannot navigate unless your compass needle always points north to the center. Horizontal instrument for a single pole to measure concentric circles, semicircles from right angles, and full circles around a fixed point center called the polar plane coordinate system. This is the North Star. Do you see how we're pretty dang close? Considering the guy this video is replying to in the first place, who doesn't even know what direction north is on a compass, and it's the only thing that
You guys can hear
compass
it? No, or
does.
no?
I'd
It's
say
low, but
that's pretty goddamn close for eyeballing it. New York, Cape Town. We're going to maintain our diamond on the line. And what happens? We arrive at our destination. The compass works properly. We never changed our heading because all longitudes are a perfect north-south. We align our compass with the longitudes on the map because it's a perfect north-south. It cannot function any other way. Now, looking at my estimation from the other polar plane coordinate system, look at that, 60 degrees, New York to Cape Town. And guess what? North is always pointing to the north. The compass is functioning properly. We have no change in our heading. This is how it works. The only way it works. This is an objective fact of reality. The red half of your needle is the only constant truth in existence.
I don't know, it was too low, the volume. I don't know if you guys heard it,
I
but
heard
yeah.
it pretty good.
Yeah, it was a little low, but I heard it. That was great.
I think we can hear it, but the audience doesn't hear it very good.
That guy sounds very familiar. I'm his voice. He's on TikTok a lot. I don't know what his channel name is, but I've seen a lot of his videos. He makes a lot of videos that are very similar to what we just watched, where he's proving by showing just simple demonstrations how the North Pole is, how it works on the AE map. He does a very good job at doing it.
Oh yeah, and the longitudes and the latitudes and the position of different countries and the angles and everything. So yeah,
Yes.
and just showing how accurate is AE map.
I like compasses on the flat Earth because how would a compass that you got a whole level, even a gyroscope compass for your car, that's the ball inside a liquid inside another ball. How would that work on a globe on different latitudes from the equator all the way up to the north? That couldn't work the way a compass does, right?
Yeah, there's no way that could work on the heliocentric model. I mean, it's bonkers.
It really is.
And all the globies try to defend it, and they make it seem like it's just a huge blow to the flat Earth model. I mean, it's really not. I mean,
there are no huge blows to the flat Earth.
Right.
There are no big, controlled. You know what I mean? They're not going to be able to do anything to us. The problem is the numbers. They got, we're outnumbered 1,000 to 1 or 100,000 to 1 or something crazy.
Well, yeah, that's what we were speaking before you guys tuned in. Like the people who flipped, right? They were never on flat earthers. I was mentioning about Robbie Davidson was one of the main guy who flipped, right? Also,
right,
organizing flat earth conferences, making money out of it, right? Doing small hit pieces there, bringing stupid people, right? That was just one of them. The other one I also wanted to mention is Miss Patricia, right? She was doing her shit. Then she appeared in Behind the Curve, right? And then after the hit piece, she disappeared. Then just before TFE, few months before TFE, she appeared back.
Yeah.
just to flip back again, like just coming and doing these special appearances and disappearing, right? So are these legit stuff going on? No, this was all planted from before, right?
Yeah,
Big,
that's a good point, man. It
big.
does seem like that.
And these are the good things that we could take from all of the bad things. You everything that happens, you can still learn from it. And our failures are actually more rewarding than our success. And I think all this stuff is very good and healthy because me personally, I wasn't even. I was just as guilty as falling on the bandwagon of trusting people, like a Witsit or a Jaren. And, I was kind of a late bloomer with being woken up to all this, that they are all in on it too. And I think that's one of the biggest takes from the final experiment and these other people that push it and then disappear and go on hit pieces or their documentaries. It really, it's so healthy because it really highlights who is who, and they're willing to divide by design. Just even if they're still flat earthers, they try to push these models that are very divisive. You know what I'm saying?
I think a lot of people, I think the powers that be were aware of this, that there was a lot of more regular people from when the lockdowns happened that were waking up. It wasn't just waking up to the drug, but it drove them to finding out flat Earth, and I think that was a big part of it. And they created this whole charade of where it started, just like as a random guy, as Duffy. He started in his church and just so happened to see a debate at the two preacher or whatever was talking about it, and his friend gave him an idea.
Yeah.
I swear, I think it was all a huge charade, and it kind of just unfolded like a movie. Like we're watching.
Mhm. Yeah, everything's a movie to these people because they get to write his story. Whoever reset humanity, it gets to write it how they want it. It's written by the victors, and that's all we're experiencing. Our illusion of reality is just scripted, by these people who have, taken the organic, timeline away. I think that they've even added, the whole Satan's little season, where they added the 1,000 years. I think that's plausible as well, but
I agree.
it's
I
just
agree.
important to be, think for yourself, man, and you're going to come to a lot better of a. It's more natural for sure. You have these divine senses for a reason, and they constantly want you to dismiss them and act like you're wrong all the time when that's not the case most of the time, if you ask me.
I think that's the basis with a lot of these deceptions is what they want us to ignore our senses, and with all the technology coming out nowadays, they want people to be lazy and to just think it's all figured out. But
Yeah, really.
I think it's 100% totally opposite. I think we need to be on top of our game. We need to start paying attention to our body, paying attention to our senses way more than ever now, especially moving in to the next couple of years. And I think that's just the bottom line of it is they want us to ignore our God-given ability to use our adaptive thinking. The very thing that makes us unique as human beings, as the frontal cortex's ability to be able to use higher order thinking, to be able to be the entity that we were born to be. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, bro. And that stuff is all that natural gifted talent and curiosity is all that. A lot of that's washed out by the education system. It's not enhanced. It's not brought out of the kids. They claim to, but in the little art classes, music here and there, it's really just kind of getting washed out. But the big thing is sports, where they teach competition, hate your rivals, and
division.
Be on top, number one. It's all that stuff is more enhanced. If we were taught how to be like philosophers and artists and real thinkers, man, this place would be so beautiful.
I think that's one of the biggest takes we have in our favor is with not just with flat Earth, but like when you look in the totality of what they've done and what they're doing and what they're going to continue to do, it's like I said it before about credibility and learning who your sources are, because we just have this appeal to authority, appeal to your elders, appeal to credentials, you know, and it's all about appealing and just fallacies. And once you learn to truly think for yourself, then you're going to question anything, you know, nothing, the truth doesn't fear investigation. So, you know, you might come up with different conclusions once you learn that. And I think a lot of the public, you know, that have nothing to do with flat earth, they're coming to a conclusion that their source of their information is not it's so bad. You know, these people are nothing but compulsive liars, and they worship the devil.
They're
You know,
showing their
don't
face to
believe
the
me.
public.
And more time that passes, the more this stuff reveals itself, that, you know, just everything is scripted by these people, you know, and it's lies after lies after lies. And these are the people that they defend and will fight us to death.
Argue with us about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Use family and friends
physical
over
fighting.
Right.
It's not physical fighting. It's the mere fact of like they do it in the method of like blackmailing and ruining your reputation, doing things online to discredit you and everything that you represent.
They muddy the waters and distract, and it's just all about obfuscation. And instead we're all in the same boat here. They have just the same problems we got. Their children are being groomed like our children. They're being inoculated. They're being, they think that they're voting these people in, and our country's, you know, got our best interest, and they work for us, and the Constitution, this, and all these things are fabrications of our reality.
Oh yeah. Well, they're not going to come right out and tell it to us. That's for sure.
They never will.
No.
They never will.
They never will. They have such they've been doing it for so long, and it's been passed down to their generations and generations. They do it so well. It's so well concealed and hidden that even if a person were to have a hunch about it, they have to surround themselves with the right people like us to be able to reinforce that in their mind. Otherwise, it's going to be like a quick thought, and they'd be like
a passing thought.
Right. And you think about
the people, guys, but the people have to know what the fuck is happening to know where to put your focus and energy, right?
Yeah.
Because if we see the big picture with the example of Robbie Davidson and Patricia Steer, right? It looks like they just appear, want to be in some big show, big hit piece, and go away, take their share and go away. So playing protagonist. So it looks like right from the beginning, when this happened, the second or third wave of flat earthers from 2014, it appears to look like the whole thing was set up right from the beginning, placing the people who were placed the way they were placed there right from the beginning, so that it doesn't go on the right track. That is what the people have to understand. What is the real big problem when you see these kind of people doing this bullshit, right? They want to give us whatever reason they did that. No. People have to understand right from the beginning, we are being played. So you imagine what the truth is and how important this truth and is to defend this truth. So it's from the inside. It's really going to be difficult to know everything with what the fuck the people are up to.
Yeah, it can't just be given in one sentence, Vikka. 100%. It's like you can't just explain it in one sit down in one session. It's a series.
One day.
It's a series of happening. It's a compilation of going down this rabbit hole and being able to have the determination of distinguish what's truth and what's not, surrounding yourself with the right people who are talking about these things, and then being able to make the connections and being able to put that stuff all together. It's one coherent type of awakening. You know, I think you make a good point there, Vikka, you know, and for people who are listening and just waking up, it's not going to happen overnight. It's something you have to want to happen if you want the full, complete understanding of what the hell is going on, the deception in the world that's been happening for generations.
Yeah, that's why one of the highest forms of education is being able to unlearn, you know, because we've been indoctrinated before you're even walking on these nonsensical models and beliefs. that you're not going to unlearn it overnight, and you're not going to know the truth overnight. But it's imperative to just be able to question everything and not feel out of place from questioning is the best thing you could do, but yet they don't want you to question anything, and it speaks for itself, it speaks volume.
I think that's where a lot of people kind of get discouraged, is because they get a little hint, or they hear something from somebody that's a rabbit hole, and then they're like, oh, whatever, and they just continue on with the rest of their life. It's like, it has to be something very profound. A very profound experience has to happen to someone in order for them to want to know more and dig deeper.
Yeah. And it's, everybody has their own angle to come into with, so to be able to read people, or people that it's hard. It could be difficult to approach people with certain things, but like some people, it's a little easier to start opening those doors, help, just crack the door open. Like, you can't kick the door down, that's for sure.
Yeah. And you can catch these people red-handed, but they're never going to admit it. You got to think about the implications. Like, if they've lied to humanity in a totality about the globe and all this shit, do you think that they're going to let a couple flat earthers go to Antarctica and prove them wrong? And that's that.
Right.
No. They will literally kill you before that happens. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen. So anybody who thinks they're going to go there and run a marathon and film a 24-hour sun will be compromised. Mark my words. You will.
Yeah, we all knew that. Yeah, we all knew that the amount of money these people were spending so that these two clowns are going to go and prove the flat earth. We all knew that. It's not happening.
It ain't going to happen. Yeah, it's not going to happen. And it won't happen in the future either. There's an Antarctic Treaty for a reason. It's not a lie or some, made up story that treaty exists, right? And you can hand dismiss it all you want, but the truth is, look at the totality of the implications of if they got proven liars. They're not going to allow it. They run this world, and they're not going to allow that to happen. It's simple.
It's true. It's like an obstacle, kind of,
You got to understand your enemy and who we're dealing with here. It's not just, this aren't just organic things that are happening. These are all scripted movements and a written his story. They're writing history as we speak, and grooming our children in the process.
Yeah, we need to be able to have 150% full freedom to be able to explore the realm beyond Antarctica, and it's restricted as it is. It's just something that needs to happen. Now, I don't know if anybody heard this. I actually shared a post on Facebook. I don't know how true it is, but there was a article saying that Russia was pulling out of the Antarctic Treaty, and Putin says that he's ready to tell about the underground passageways in Antarctica. I don't know how true it is, but it was an article that I shared. I think it was maybe a couple weeks ago. I don't know if anybody in the chat might have heard more about that, or if you guys heard about that. But
they were already showing things, brother. They were already showing things. The people who had eyes to see already, the people saw, at least on here, right? Some things have been shared about the so-called extra stuff, right? They also is saying that in 2047 or 48, it's going to end the Antarctica Treaty. What is really going to happen there? Why is supposed to end the treaty? Yeah.
And they're going to renew it. Bro, we did a show over a year ago. We're talking about the Antarctic Treaty being like 500 years old with the Urbano Monte map. And if you look around the outer edge, it's all the pie slices have a name on it, and it's kind of like designated to families, it seems, from 500 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, but in 2038, you say 58? Maybe that's when the barrier comes down and they start, showing us different things or something. I don't know. That's what I would like to see.
That's something I would love to see. I think that's a big contributing factor, You know, because there's a lot of people who think it's just bogus. You know, even especially the Globers when we
Yeah, well,
talk
they
about
think
the
there's
Antarctic Treaty.
they'd rather think that there's frogs on the moon evolving rather than something outer in the ocean somewhere because the globe don't show it. you know.
Yeah, I think that Antarctic Treaty is something big, in my opinion. And you know, the closer we can get to getting rid of that is another step closer to getting more people connected and bringing us together.
Well, some people actually think that Antarctica is a continent at the bottom or something. Antarctica is not even a place like that. You know, it's our ice wall. You know, it's every direction away from north, and you know they think that they got it stuck in their head that you can actually just go there to a certain bottom of the ball location. You know, when they don't
If you keep
keep it in
walking, you're going to end
consideration.
up going north sooner or later, right? Every
Yeah,
direction from the South Pole is north, right?
yeah, unless
Yeah,
you're
and
just circling east to
Right.
west, right? You're not getting farther or closer away from it than you're just circling east or west.
Now, you know what?
But
Look at the differences in the terrain, the temperatures, and the conditions between the North Pole and the South Pole. They're like night and day almost. They look similar, and look at the North Pole on Google Maps. It's not even there anymore. I don't even know if it ever was. There's just, little patches of ice. There's no big landmass or anything like I always thought there was. Maybe I was wrong about that, though.
That's
yeah,
another thing. And it depends on what map you look at, because when I'm talking about the North Pole, is some maps will show you just one huge icy continent. Other
Right?
maps show absolutely nothing but just sea. And then the older maps that we all talk about show the 4 continents of Hyperborea, you know? So it's like that's another big gray area of
Yeah.
understanding the North.
But
that's
guys,
another
you know
red
what?
flag.
Think
Yeah,
think about it, man. We all go to state parks and something's roped off. You can't go there. You don't go there. That's all there is to it, right? For the most part.
yeah.
I used to enjoy jumping fences a lot more than I do nowadays that I'm getting a little older, but I don't do that stuff anymore. But look at the Grand Canyon. You can't just walk around the Grand Canyon any way you want. I think there's a lot of no-fly zone. I heard there's military garden things down there too. I don't know if that's true or not, but I know that you can't just go walk around there.
Yeah, the fact that we don't know is pretty telling. You know, that's by design. You know, I mean,
Well,
how is it
sure.
2025 and we're still questioning things that we should have known since we were born? Really, our parents should have known these
Exactly.
things. You know, it's all
Yeah.
paints a picture of a controlled learning process. You know, they want you to understand what they want you to understand, not by anything organic or natural. You know,
oh
it's
yeah,
all forced.
I also wanted to mention, ask psychedelic. You remember the Etherbound Operation Etherbound stuff,
Yes.
dude? The same way the people they use about the flat Earth, about the plane stuff, the document which shows aviation works on a stationary flat Earth. They assume the Earth is flat. It's a document, right? The people flat Earthers use that. So
Yeah.
the same way this Operation Etherbound, it goes in a lot of detail about what could be happening there, right? So the whole TFE shit, I also said this many times, and I also say is one of the main reason also that nobody fucking look what is beyond Antarctica. Because Globers are happy, their globe is proved, the flat earthers are fighting, but like go away from there. This is what it's all about because they don't want the people to go near Antarctica.
Yeah. They don't want people
Think
going
about
to
it. If
Antarctica.
that's the outsider edge of our sun, so we got a ring there. They don't want us to go too far in. Obviously, they don't even want us to go there by ourselves. It's too dangerous, right? So what about Mount Everest? That's not too dangerous, but whatever. But think about what if there's another sun, another few hundred miles past our wall where
Yeah.
we know of, and then all of a sudden there's this freezing zone that starts to thaw out again, and that could be endless like that. Because who
Yeah.
knows how the sky could interact with another sky adjacent to it.
Truly, the most dangerous thing is the people that are telling us it's too dangerous. Those are that's the most dangerous thing
Yeah,
is the
right.
people that are controlling what is and what isn't. They want
Right,
to
the same
pretend
people
like,
that are protecting us that don't protect us are telling that it's dangerous, and it's
yeah,
probably really not. And if they cared about our safety, we wouldn't be in the conditions that we are, like in the cities and in the
right.
world.
And how are these people
So
immune to credibility loss? Like how many things have happened in your lifetime where the mainstream has zero credibility? You know what I'm saying? How many times? How many psyops? How many times do
all
they
of them.
gotta get caught with their hand in a cookie jar before they're no longer believable? Whatever happened to that?
Exactly. And
People just hand
Well,
dismiss it.
I think we're way beyond that point. For people who
Way
have
beyond.
their head on for people who have their head on straight, already know that. It's just that some people are just so bogged down, and
well,
know,
they have, since Obama was in over here, they got the Smith Modernization Act or Reformation, where that makes Operation Mockingbird look like Disneyland.
yeah.
So they basically gave these guys, although they're friends, or it's one big team. Don't tell me they divided up. They have this. They have the media. No matter what it looks like, it's all being funneled out of these people.
Yeah.
So
And none of it was organic to begin with. It was all
right.
brought to us like the media or the radio. It was all designed
Mm-hmm.
initially to control propaganda and a narrative. That's what
I
it's a
agree,
tool.
bro.
That's all it is.
The internet was
100%.
initially not for the public use. It was only supposed to be for military and governmental purposes, for them to have quicker communication.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill
And
Clinton flipped that
once
for
they
us.
infiltrate our perception like that, they literally control how you think, because if they're have any power of what you perceive, then that's how you conclude of how you think. So they're literally, it's like MK Ultra, it's a psychological warfare here.
Yep, and once you
It
get
is.
past a certain age, you don't once you have that programming at a certain age, you don't go past any higher order thinking. You don't
Right.
you don't use all of your abstract thinking to be able to question the narrative.
Right.
So that's why they try to
Wow.
keep you dumbed
Right.
down for as long as possible. They try
Yeah.
to buy time.
Yeah. Hence why they get you so early as well, because that's when you're most
Yeah.
susceptible to compliance,
Yeah, and on all those suggestions and force-fed narratives, and it's I feel so lucky to be on this side of the fence with you guys.
It'll set you free, brother.
Yeah, it does.
I'd rather be wrong.
And it's like
I'd rather be wrong.
right? We still got to pay bills and grind and everything. Life don't change that way, but it changes within you, and it's just a different world when it changes within you like that.
Yeah. Well, they got you in fear of everything. Everything is fear mongering 101. They want you to be
Yeah.
in fear of death, especially because who knows? That's probably another lie as well. Once you become spiritually intact with your spirituality, you realize that there is no end. It's just as natural as being born, and they just got you in this false reality to where you're always in need of them. You always need to give it all so they can save us.
Which is like the furthest thing from the truth, bro. Honestly, I think death should be talked about way more than it is within the family and communities. It's kind of like almost like a hush subject on what really happens. It's just not.
We don't even really know what death is. It's just once again, it's just
don't, sure.
Oh yeah, it's the cousin of sleep, right?
Yeah,
So
right. Death and brother.
yeah.
Death and
So
sleep.
every
are like
day we die
brothers.
freaking every day.
Right? You're practicing death every day.
yeah.
Yeah. But who
Well,
knows?
I don't think people should be afraid of it as much as it is, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm not saying run to it and make your life short to hurry up and get there, but never fear it. It's like being scared of being born. It's like it's the same. It's the yin and the yang, right? It's all natural.
Right.
And as hard as it is for people to wrap their mind around, it goes back to what we were saying. People have this idea programmed, but it kind of connects back to what we were talking about, how energy recycles. I think that the soul works in the same way, but I think
100%.
people have a hard time understanding that, this physical avatar that we embody as our physical body is just what we've manifested in at this point in time, but it will recycle forever and ever and ever as people will like to think when the body dies, the soul doesn't die. The spirit lives on. It's just it will recycle and renew in another time period and manifest again.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. But a lot of people, I think a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their mind around that and expressing that because we've been so dumbed down to one idea of what death is, you know, and thinking that that's the end of whatever it is we are in this life. For right now.
Exactly. As you said, brother, like, you know, it's like once we understand what we are, the part of the fractal, right? That we are not physical. Once we understand, not only understand, it's like this feeling only happens when you really sense the difference of the mind, body, and soul, right? So we are not physical, and what we are part of, where we come here to experience. Once we understand that there is no death, right? There is no, right?
Right.
It's light
No way.
cannot be destroyed, right? In a
Right.
way.
Transformation.
I think when people can subscribe to the fact that we are manifestations of light, and you have a better idea of how that works, you know, it's recycling. It's almost like a never-ending phenomena. You know, it's just a matter of the fact that people are so programmed into the physical that they're not thinking into the metaphysical aspect of it, which is the higher order thinking of reality.
Right. And one of the biggest problematic things with the physical portion of it is a lot of it's just scripted. You know, it's a false illusion of what is reality.
That's true.
Exactly.
It's crazy, bro.
That's why it's important
time.
for a lot of us to, you know, that are trying to teach and educate other people. It's like we need to be really diverse in what we know, because if you just only push flat Earth, then it's real hard, because we've got a lot of the people that are more easily awoken are already with us. So in order for us to reach new people, they got to be, you know, with kid gloves, you know, they got to be walked over here. You know, they can't just dive in.
One good thing about what you're saying, though, bro, is, you know, with everything crashing down and failing the way it is, my hopes are that it should be easier to reach people in their soft spot where they need to be talked to with these issues we have as humanity. So hopefully it's like, you know, like that yin and yang. It's all crashing down. So more and more people have the ability to stop and say, like you said, flat Earth's not the only part of it. There's a lot of stuff going on around that.
Right.
And because of the globe Earth and not understanding where you even walk around on throughout your life, you know, they're able to trick us into a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. I look at flat Earth kind of like, you know, you go into school and you're not going to learn trigonometry when you go into 6th, 7th grade, right? It's just, you're not ready for that. You got to work your way up. And it just, if you try to, it's just too much. It's overwhelming. And I think that's what we're experiencing a lot of with just trying to get people to wake up to the truth, you know?
Sure.
And we get a lot of just infighting, and that's the worst thing, because it's just causing us to divide, you know. Instead, we're all in the same boat, like I said, and we got to come to some kind of common ground in order to unite, because united we stand, divided we fall. It's very simple.
Exactly, and flat Earth unites the people. I think it's one of the only thing that really unites people, because the whole agenda of dividing in everything, race, religion, football team, color, like flags, whatever, right?
Really?
Is division on every level. So I think flat Earth is one of the amazing things that gets everyone together. All different countries, all different languages, all different religion, all different understanding, right? So it's important. It's important for the people to align to this. Go ahead.
Just like you said, Vikka, it reinforces that unity. It reinforces the fact of all of these divisions and all of these dividing ideas, like everything you said, race, color, whatever. Flat Earth reinforces that, and Globe Earth discourages that. Globe Earth basically pushes the narrative of division and dividing everything into those different categories, which is what we're really not on the metaphysical level. When you come to flat Earth on the metaphysical level, you realize that all of this physical understanding really is higher than what we actually have been taught and been told. So it bridges that mindset when you come to flat earth, and when you do enough deep diving, you be like, oh, aha, okay, so that really does make sense. When you think on a metaphysical level, there really is no race, there really is no
Right.
There's
ethnicity.
no flags. There's no countries.
Yeah.
It's
Well-
just energy and just one people.
Right. Well put.
That's
Absolutely.
it, bro. We're all brothers, man, and that's something that I think should be learned and taught more than like the football and the division and stuff.
Well, these people the powers that be are very genius. Even if the people that do control it aren't, they print money out of thin air, and they could hire the biggest, best think tanks you could ever imagine.
Yep.
So, we just can't underestimate or undermine what we're dealing with, and why we are as deep as we are. It's because they do have full control, and they always have, and they're very powerful when they can infiltrate your perception, the way we think in a totality. But that's why it's important to become spiritually. And flat earth is absolutely, I used to be atheist or agnostic, and I found God through flat earth. I know there's a creator, 100%, no doubt in my mind now.
Yeah.
And that's because of flat earth.
Bless you, bro.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, it's a no-brainer. It's always all the truth is right there in your face, always. And I do believe it, so they could justify that your ignorance. They got to answer to the Almighty when this is over, and they know it. They know it. So as long as they leave the truth in our face, I feel like that's justification to them.
It could be the revelation of method.
Isn't that part of their, I see a lot of conspiracy channels talking about that. Isn't that one of the rules or whatever? It's that they have to tell us what they're
karmic
doing.
release, right?
Yeah,
Right.
something like that. They have to put it out there for them to relieve that sort of guiltiness or whatever,
Right.
on the fact that they are really deceiving us deep down. They know that they are, but they're trying to do it in such a secretive way.
Well, it's like, they say the devil just can't walk in your house, your head, your mind. You have to invite him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as
And
you guys
when-
are saying, no, they have to tell the people. So they are actually telling the people, but the people are taking it another way.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
For example, the hand signs, right? The hand signs these people show to us, we are calling them Masonic and demonic. They are telling the truth.
Right.
Yeah, really, the mood.
Those hand gestures and signals are all energy points. Even forget Jesus Christ have his hand with the three fingers doing like this.
Right. I think they stole their symbolism from our creator, and they mock us with it. They're in such a good place with how long they've controlled us and how powerful they are, that they could just there's a big old club that you're not in, and they live as they will, and they mock us with it the whole time. It's just mockery.
Exactly. They have stolen every symbol, and it's problem of the people who are so much indoctrinated and think, oh, these people are showing Masonic signs and all this stuff. They are telling the truth. They are doing the job. Even the symbolism and all their deities and everything they show, they are telling.
Bro,
yeah, go ahead,
dude. Even with with the Big Dipper being shown in ancient depictions, going around in a circle and showing the
swastika.
Exactly.
The swastika.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that because I wasn't sure if that's a hot word, but yeah, exactly, bro. They demonized that to no end for the past 100 years or so, I guess, right?
See, and I think all those symbols actually, it's part of the programming. I think a lot of those, basically all of those symbols, just represent the energetic forces of nature.
Right.
They've just taken them and make people think that there's some kind of evil connection to it.
That's what they do. Yeah, they reverse engineer everything.
It's really just nature. It's really just creation and energy and frequency is what those symbols are symbolizing. The ancients knew this. you know, and they've taken that, they've twisted and inverted those interpretations of it.
Yeah, they have.
Couldn't agree
Oh, man.
more.
So I think when people can get on board with that and get over that hump. Okay. Oh yeah, go ahead and play that, Vikka. Yep.
Just a sec. Go ahead. I wanted to play another one, but just a second.
Justin, are we friends on Facebook or anything like that, bro? Instagram?
I've never done anything else really but YouTube.
Evil. It's a symbol of conscience.
All right.
This guy.
Alrighty, guys.
This is
So
reliable wisdom.
yeah, this is also one of an example, right? It's for the people to understand. They have robbed all the real thing and they have demonized it, right? So the people think they are decoding their bullshittery from Masonic and all these people doing their signs and everything, the symbolism. But if you really understand, they have hijacked everything, including this. I'll play this.
Consciousness. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your beliefs. You turn off your mind and emotions, you're left with the observer. This symbol can give you power because it's placed at the top of the artwork, at the top of the pyramid, and at the top of buildings. Symbolizing you need to stay conscious because the eye is open, not closed. It's looking. It's a reminder to stay conscious and stay above, looking down over your thoughts, emotions, and your physical actions. Don't get tied up in the negative thoughts and feelings and the external world. Triangle is the number 3. The I is the number 1. Consciousness expresses itself in thought, emotion, action. This is a symbol to stay conscious. Be aware of your thoughts, emotion, and actions because these are generating your reality. And if you unify your thought, your emotion to feel a reality and act towards it, you generate that reality quicker. It's not an evil symbol, but it represents staying aware and looking over, teaching you to not become too attached to the material world. That's why it's separate. However, the negative side of this symbol represents how the elites are watching over humanity.
So it's just an example to show how these people hijack everything.
Good one.
Everything. And so that the people
don't realize, a lot of people don't realize that symbol, they took that one that's on the screen right there, they've actually removed the top part of that pyramid that actually used to be connected at one point because that's an ancient Moorish symbol, which was a part of the Al-Moroccan Empire. And when it was connected, it represented, just like I was talking about, consciousness at one point was all connected in unity on a grand humanity level scale. And now they're showing you that they have taken that symbol and separated it because they've deceived humanity, and humanity is disconnected from their consciousness, which is the level that we live in right now. But
Wow.
that pyramid top, that top piece used to be connected, and I can even send that to you, Vikka, that actually used to represent humanity as a whole. It used to be all connected, but now it's not.
Do you mean on the dollar bill? Or just like the picture itself?
The picture
Both.
itself.
alrighty, shout out to Aaron Work, our brother, for the super chat. You have the link up there if you want to jump in.
But you think about it,
Exactly.
guys, you know, if
Go ahead,
you know,
Gene.
when we're looking at stuff, it's a combination of our left eye and our right eye. So when you close one eye, you get one version. When you close the other eye, you get the other version. And when you're looking at both eyes, you get, you know, like a different version that your brain has to kind of filter out and put together. So you got two eyes to look and then one eye to see. It's kind of how it goes, right?
Exactly. And these are all the symbols and the everything, all the scriptures and all different cosmology is speaking about the same thing. But this is the thing. Okay, I'm going to play this also.
Is the radio antenna which connects the body to the mind. No, the mind is not the brain, and the spirit world is not out there or outside of you. The spirit world is simply the world inside the mind. You see, the mind is the bridge between the physical man and the spiritual man. The screen you use in your mind to imagine a red apple is the same dimension that feeds the physical world. Look at everything around you. Everything was imagined in the astral, the spiritual plane, then brought into physical existence. They do not want you having access to your imagination or the world inside your mind, because you are eternal there, and inside that world, you can consciously shape your reality through imagination. They don't want you using your imagination, because this is the power that shapes your future. They do not want you a conscious creator. They want your mind stuck and locked in only your five senses, living in reaction and not becoming a commanding creator.
That's awesome. Wow. Great clip, dude.
Oh yeah, this is the thing. They have hijacked all these different symbols and everything, and demonize it so that the people don't use it. The people don't.
They don't know how.
There it is.
Exactly, because
There
if
we
you are
go.
thinking, yeah, if you're thinking that this is all is Masonic and demonic, you don't know the real true meaning of what he's trying to do. Even the whole Jesus thing and the 33 and everything is, as we spoke many times, is just part of knowing the Christ within you, right? Getting that oil to the pineal gland, right? Seeing that you are not physical, right? You are part of this intelligent design, and you're not limited, right? This is not the only reality that exists, right? And this physical thing, we want to give everything a physical feeling of everything, right? Yeah, go ahead, psychedelic. Yeah, tell us about the picture.
Yeah, so going back to what we were talking about earlier, this is where that symbol comes from. That's on the back of the dollar. You see how the tip of the pyramid is connected here, and the Moorish Almoroccan Empire is the same thing as the Tartarian Empire. They were one and the same, which was the entire world. And this symbol at the bottom here, it shows Islam. Islam is an anagram, or it's an acronym for I, self, law, and master, which is basically the highest levels of intellectual thinking that's ever known in existence, is knowing the astrological aspect of the universe, knowing the meditative aspect of the body, knowing that you're connected to the cosmos, knowing that the anatomy of the body is divine, and that the pineal gland at the tip of your in the top of your brain is basically like a fractal of the higher order consciousness of the entire realm. You know, it all goes together.
Yeah, it's part of being
Oh
like the
yeah.
Illuminati, right? Enlightened. Seems
Oh
like
yeah,
that's part of.
they have hijacked, brother. They have hijacked the one eye symbolism, and literally telling the people that whoever have this one eye symbolism is a Illuminati or a Masonic. No, you mofos have hijacked it of the
Yeah.
true teaching of Christ and every other cosmology. Why the fuck you are here, reincarnated here, to know where you come from, right? But it's not our problem if people think this is demonized and everything is connected to is demonized because they own it. No, nobody fucking own it. Okay, so the same thing with the rainbow flag. Just because some people started using it now the people are not going to use the rainbow flag. Why? The same shit with
Chakras.
every symbolism. This this creation is intelligent, is sacred geometry, right? It's
Yeah.
fractal, right?
Bingo. I haven't seen this illustration yet. It's pretty interesting there, Psych. I like how they mock you with the star and the moon again. You know, like the moon isn't physical type of illustration.
Yep, astrology. You know, astrology is one of those main disciplines of the Almoroccan / Tartarian Empire, which is another thing that the powers that be demonize. They say that you shouldn't pay attention to astrology, which is what they use every single day. And you know, like how Vikka was saying, everything that is propagandized and pushed in front of us is to push us away from the fact that the human body is a fractal of the higher order of consciousness, and they don't want us to know that. They want us to just look at our phones and not look up at the sky and think that it's all demonic, and push this narrative onto us, when really everything that they make us think is demonic is actually just representing consciousness and reality and nature and energy, and these aspects of reality that are just truths, just metaphysical truths that the ancients knew about, and that's what we see in these symbols. They were just depicting that in the best way that they could, because they knew the truth about this world. And I think that's all that they were really trying to depict in a lot of these symbols, is just energy, and that we are a manifestation of that. We are a connection of that, and that we should embody that. But everything that we get pushed to believe is the total opposite of that truth.
Yeah, it's all physical, bro.
Yeah.
All opposite.
Yeah, they sure love their reverse engineering, that yin and yang, the dark and the light, everything is duality. So, that's why I say, if they say, look left, I'm running right. I don't even care if I'm wrong. You're going to be in a much better place. You might not be right all the time, but you're going to have a lot better understanding of the true nature of our reality if you just stop listening to these deceivers.
Yeah, I just told my wife the other day, like a week or two ago, maybe, that I'm totally comfortable with like catching a glimpse of the narrative and just completely denying the truth of it. Then, thinking, oh, maybe it was real. When they just
Please do these hand gestures not to show their.
She was saying that.
Yeah, no, they just had that psyop going on with that, that liberal guy. And I'm like, nah, I don't believe it. I don't care. It's too much. They're just fishy. It's too big, and I don't believe none of it. And I'd much rather be wrong about saying that than being wrong about falling for it. And
once again, credibility. Why would you ever listen to somebody who's been caught lying through your entire life? They've been doing nothing but lying, and we're just going to sit there and listen to them tomorrow? That's the most mind-blowing part about it to me. Like, how do these people even have a leg to stand on? How do they get people to comply to that degree when they can lie to you every single day of your life and then make up some shit tomorrow, and they just jump right back to the same source?
No apologies.
And they do it over and over and over again in just different ways. And they throw it in our faces.
And once you see it, you can't unsee that. And it's so easy. Like I said, I don't care what happens tomorrow. If they said this next psyop happens, my first instinct is absolutely not.
No, it didn't.
Absolutely not. I'm not. You can fool me once, man. That's it. I know who you are now. Whatever happened to, it's just everything has been just demoralized with, just. It used to be where you're a man of your word, and a handshake is all you needed. Now it's just you can't trust anybody or anything, and it's all by design. It's all about division and obfuscation from being able to come to the real conclusion of who, what, why, and where, and what the hell is happening. The reality.
Yeah, bro. People are locked onto that treadmill. And like we said before, sometimes they catch a glimpse of something, they hear a story, they're in a rabbit hole, and that's the end of it.
Oh yeah, guys, let's listen to this. Guys, let's listen to this. One moment.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and play.
They're in the Illuminati, not to show they're in some satanic cult, and definitely celebrities do these hand gestures not to show they're in the Illuminati, not to show they're in some satanic cult, and definitely not to show that they're against God. This symbol has a deep, powerful meaning that can give you power and help you grow, okay? The gesture of covering one eye with the hand is seen everywhere in the music industry, okay? The uncovered eye represents the physical eye, which perceives the external material world of the light of the day. This is the eye that interacts with the tangible, visible aspects of reality, the world we navigate through our five senses. But the hidden eye covered by the hand is in darkness. Okay, so you have one eye in the light, one eye in darkness. This represents the inner eye, also known what we call today the third eye. But this is simply just the eye of consciousness. This is the eye that allows you to see the screen in your mind, to vision a red apple, to vision a monkey in a tree. The imagination is the spirit realm. They want you to think the spirit realm is something outside you or something that you go to after death. You are already in the spiritual realm. You are an individual. You have a dual nature, physical and spiritual. The spiritual world is simply the world and the self inside the mind. The world in the mind is eternal and spiritual. The world out the mind, this material body, is going to die and it's material, okay? So when they do this gesture, it is simply showing that they are aware of their dual nature. They're aware of the inner world and the outer world. It is the inner world producing and molding the outer world, okay? It means they're aware of their consciousness. The imagination is the vision you use when you die and when you dream. You return back to this internal world every single night you go to sleep. When you wake up, you express into the external world. This is the breath of the universe, just like you breathe in and out. This is the exact same pattern.
Very,
you
very
got-
well explained. What a lot of
Yeah,
people
go ahead.
don't understand is that people seem to forget that our two physical eyes is just an extension of our brain, which is an extension of the pineal gland, which it embodies the pineal gland, which is the actual eye that is what reality is actually being manifested through. And the brain is the receiver, like a radio, that is basically tuning into the thoughts that get sent to our brain from the source, because we don't think of our thoughts. Our thoughts are invited and they visit us, and we just choose which thoughts we want to act on. A lot of people forget that.
It's pretty mind blowing. It's a good
Oh,
video.
yeah. Oh, yeah. It really tells us how deep is the indoctrination, how we don't really understand the symbols and the signs they are putting in our face, right? So the people from a very long time, all the ancient cultures, people who know this sign and this symbol, they know what it means. All right? It's not a fucking Illuminati symbol just because they use it. They are laughing in the faces of the people and telling that how they have a dual nature and they understand the physical and they understand the spiritual, right?
Yeah. That sign is not exclusive to those secret societies. They know the power that it contains, and that's why they are throwing it in our faces, because we're part of the programming. They've made everybody think that it has an evil connection, when really they're just displaying and showing that they understand the power and the underlying nature of that symbology.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the higher
Exactly.
connection that it has.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Gene.
I was thinking that it's the higher connection that these things have that they know, and they're not teaching it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's a yin yang right there. The irony is just you could build with it. It's like building blocks, so thick.
And I think
Oh, yeah. Everything we need to know, guys. Go ahead, Psychedelic.
I was going to say, I think that's another reason why you don't see meditation being taught.
Right.
Like now, more and more people are getting more into it now because they're realizing, but not that long ago, like all of those practices, all of those disciplinary practices that were to enhance your inner alchemy, that's where the real nature exists at. The fact that you can have your imagination be built up, it's like a muscle. You
Yeah.
build up that muscle of imagination And that's what brings the reality out in people. And that's,
You know, I heard that. So I think it's somewhere in Japan. They just started in the school curriculum walking in the forest for rest. It's peaceful. It's nature. It's who we are. We're part of it. It's part of us.
connected to grounding and earthing.
Yeah. There's therapy in the dirt and in the plants and and the soil. It's very therapeutic.
Yeah, that is why they want to tell everybody that this is all juju, astrology, everything spiritual, esoteric, right? They want to demonize it so that they use it for themselves, for sure. Everything.
And J.P.
Right?
Morgan had like a special watch that could have been like a miniature Antikythera mechanism. So he was checking stuff out to the minute. If that's true, that's so.
Oh yeah,
Very,
and go ahead, JJ.
no, I was just saying it's very interesting stuff, man, and it's all just about diluting how we think, and that's why it's important to be able to think for yourself. It's imperative.
Very imperative. And staring at our phones doesn't help because the blue light in all of our phone screens and all of that contributes to calcifying the pineal gland. And the governments know all about that. That's not just a psyop.
It's probably their design.
Yeah,
put this in your phone. We'll pay you.
So, and all of it contributes to the fact that these practices, these disciplinary practices, help to bring out your inner spirituality and your inner alchemy, which is what a lot of people don't practice. Everyone's addicted to everything opposite of that, which is doing fashion shows, playing video games,
material world.
Yeah, what is it? Dopamine hits now, right? Everybody's addicted to thumbs and quick videos that catch attention and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why all the psychedelics are illegal, because it makes you fucking think, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It allows you to open up that doorway to the spirit world. It really does. To realize that there's just a lot more going on than just the physical.
Yeah, moderation with everything. Some of those drugs, I have no regrets, dabbling it in my younger years, because you definitely become smarter. It's a trip. It unlocks definitely different things, parts of your brain.
And it helps you block the matrix too, though. I think
exactly. Yeah,
it has the potential to. Not that it does,
right,
but it can help you see through the curtains.
Yeah, it helps you see. The term of that gene is called the default mode network in the brain. It's basically the basic level that the brain operates at in an anatomical understanding. Is that, and the psychedelics literally blast through that. Really blows that open. Vikka and I can vouch for that for sure.
Yeah, a great way to put it. I didn't know that though, but yeah, they do. They knock that barrier down.
Blows the curtains open.
Yeah.
And then it's just, and then after that, it's basically like maintaining that mindset. And it's a struggle. It's not easy. Obviously, it's something it goes back to intention. It goes back to the fact that someone needs to have discipline. It's how you apply that psychedelic experience, or it doesn't have to be substance related. It could be a psychedelic experience like meeting a person that's very intelligent and gives you a different insight, but then how do you apply that? It is the very key of moving forward in the spiritual awakening. Is how do you maintain that mindset, and how do you embody that? That's stuff that I work on every day in my videos, and with everything is how can someone help bring that to somebody else, to show the light to somebody else.
because knowing all this information does nothing. It's what you do with it, right? Because
Exactly.
the buck stops when we know it. Then what?
Yeah,
You know,
right.
it's about being able to share it and get other people to get on some common ground somewhere.
Right. It's good to be able to sort it out and get rid of the trash and walk away with the good stuff.
And our
Oh
enemies are
yeah,
very, very good at infiltration. Obviously we've been shown that. And that's where even when we see it, half of us will see it and half of us still don't. So the obfuscations and the diluting of the truth is always going to be present. So it just really, really keeps it hard for us to unite. You
oh
know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
And as you guys were saying, right, we need to apply what we learned too, right? So that's the thing. So there will be many enlightened, but very few masters. The masters are the one who apply what you learn, right? So it's really important.
Right. And most masters are the ones that are more silent. The people that talk the less are usually the wisest, unfortunately, because it's hard to learn from somebody who's not very outspoken.
Very true. Like the shamans of the world. That's why
Right.
that's why the shamans are very, very internal, quiet people.
Mhm.
They know what's up. They know the deal. But a person with the right intention who comes to them has to show and prove that that's something that they seek. That's something that they're looking for. And in their eyes, if that shaman sees worthiness in that person, then they will begin to teach. And I apply that philosophy in everything I do. I don't pay attention to all the negativity or what the globies like to egg on all of their nonsense. I only want to talk to the people who want to learn, who are interested in what I have to say, and want to apply that type of knowledge, because I mean, it's not for everyone.
Right.
Oh yeah, but brother, everyone have that shaman inside them. The whole idea of being reincarnated reincarnated here is about to know that shaman or to know that Christ within you, whichever suits you, or any other ones you love. But it's about waking that up and realizing, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
What a ride. What a ride.
Yeah. So I think that's the battle of today's world, is being able to sift through and decipher who's really on board, and connecting with geocentrism is like, who's really on board, who's really wanting to get down to the nitty gritty of the truth, because and I think it takes these types of conversations to really see the light and the intention in a person. You have to hear the tone of their voice. You have to see their body language. You have to see these things. It has to be presented to someone in order for you to want to provide something like that. Because
Right.
there's so much deception in the world. There's so much foolishness that I see in people, and I don't want to deal with it. I really don't.
That's why I take it like
Yeah.
there's a positive. Every time we see a new psyop, I'm stoked because it just really brings to the forefront where do people stand? What do because if their instincts aren't correct, then they're obviously still got. If
Funny.
they're just buying into the narrative every time,
That's a good point, Jay. I like that.
I was surprised to see as many people upset about the last, happening with that guy from the.
it's pretty telling. There was a lot of us that thought it was real. Now, I'm not one of them,
know.
but there's a lot of us.
Yeah, I was like,
Pretty mind-blowing.
wow. People jump right back into the matrix for some things, man.
Right. As far as we've come, they'll just jump right back into the trap.
But I don't know. Everybody develops and lets go of stuff at different rates too, though. So it's
Right.
like you say, it's telling. It's like, oh wow,
But things
Right.
like that are even more healthy for flat Earth because they bring an awakening to who you're listening to. Who are we dealing with? You know,
Right.
why? Those are always the questions that are more important, not the actual topic, but the who and the why behind the motives, the alternative motives, because everything has alternative motives. All your wars, all your everything
Yeah,
paints a
yeah.
picture of
Well,
deception.
it everything they do, just you turn around and they tighten the ropes, bro. All
Yeah.
the different ropes that they got knotted up on us, they just keep squeezing them shut, and then they want more from us. They want more and more and more and more.
The more they push, though, I feel like the more it's hurting them at this point.
I hope so. Hopefully, people are tired of it because it's just so unnecessary. It's
Well,
so
they're
completely
good at sweeping stuff
unnecessary.
under the rug and getting us to talk about something else
Yeah,
tomorrow,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
No,
and
the attention span is
yeah, we just
nil.
spin our wheels, man. You know,
Yeah,
we come to conclusions and then we're off to something else tomorrow, and people just forget about what we've already found to be true. You know, and keep that with
yeah.
you because really it's just about knowing who and why. You know, who keeps doing this to us and why do they keep doing it to us? And once you see that, then you see it from a different perspective, and it's a lot easier to you can't unsee it. You know, it's just
I
Yeah.
have, yeah. A couple things. I wouldn't want to unsee it, and I'd want to see all of it. I want to know. I want to. I was in the Scouts. Boy Scouts are always prepared. Thrifty wives, brave, friendly, courteous, kind, stuff like that. Stuck
Having
with me.
flexibility, being able to have that mental, psychological flexibility is such a strong superpower in my mind. I think it's almost like a superpower.
right.
It could help, man. It could help, hopefully. Yeah, we're
So
bombarded, guys, and right, you were saying it before. I think the same thing about media, television. It was created for the deception. They didn't create stuff and say, "Oh, let's entertain people," and then they decided to swipe it. Or I don't believe. I think that's where it came from these creeps that are running this show and pushing these narratives. That's what I think. They
Right.
don't. I don't think they care if we're entertained much. Well, actually, they do, but we're garbage. You know what I mean? So, but it's not for entertainment. It's for brainwashing. There's a difference. But they
Yep.
are one and the same because it's like, yeah, we're being entertained with this brainwashing. So,
Yeah, they're really good at in infiltration, you know, playing that good cop, bad cop. They create the crisis and then create a hero to come in and save us from the crisis they created. And then we're all content because somebody's, handling the tyrannic, things that are happening. So to me, I think everything that's happening is just absolutely in our favor, and it's like, it really shows you who's who and the people that you thought you could trust that might have been on it the whole time. It's just pretty
yeah,
telling, especially like even recently, most recently, they just had a charity fundraiser for Witsit because he needs to move again. It's like, get a job, first of all, and is anybody here paying for me to move or eat or,
right?
survive? No, get a job, bro. Okay. And this guy's already been caught lying to us, dude. I assure you. Don't trust me. Go do your damn research. He is absolutely lying about a 24-hour sun. There's no doubt in my mind it doesn't exist. 100%, you know. But,
Yeah, and it's
these people that are over here fundraising for him, they're exposing themselves, dude. Who in their right mind is going to go, fundraise for the enemy? Because they're complicit with the enemy, and it's been proven. So what are you doing? You
oh
know?
yeah, brother. This is the thing, right? And there are people who are defending this sellout. So it's pretty crazy.
Defending who? Who'd you say, Vika?
The
The
sellout.
sellout,
Uh,
Mister.
which
Yeah, Mister Wishit.
Yeah.
weird shit.
The whole Rico clique, I hate to name names, but I don't care. I call it like I see it, the Andrew B's and Karen B's and the Cammy Nodells and Rico and Lowry and Nicole. All these people are cliques. They hang together, birds of a feather. These are the people that are supporting Witsit right now as we speak. And they're going to say, like, I'm some dumb piece of shit that don't know what I'm talking about and they didn't organize it. Well, guess what? You're complacent. You're guilty by association, right? Am I wrong?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. After this,
Yeah. Maybe
when
maybe they
with
just don't see
with
it that
this,
way though.
yeah. Go ahead, guys.
No, I'm just saying maybe they, they're just on his side. I guess I don't know.
Well, this ain't a time, in the middle of war, you don't play games, There will be casualties of this war, whether it's not physical, because, those
Right.
physical boots on the ground days are done. We have much better ways of destroying nations in humanity without even putting a foot on the ground. You have cyber, digital, psychological warfare. It's fifth dimension warfare. You have weather warfare, and it's just you can destroy whole nations without ever even knowing who the enemy is. So
Oh yeah. Information.
times have changed.
Information. Yeah.
It's information war, and it changes your perception, how you think. So it's very dangerous because we'll make decisions tomorrow based on your perception of what has happened in the past. And our past is completely infiltrated and it's been diluted and weaponized, So that's one thing that we need to all understand and come together. Even if you don't believe Earth is flat, look at everything else. And it's all the strings point, all the roads lead to the same place. There is a one world order.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
It sure seems that way to me.
And whoever is defending these clowns or guilty by association is true, because anything connecting with this name is questionable. Very loud and clear, right? There's no way around.
Right? Speaks volume. 100%, man.
100%.
And that's why I'm glad. I say keep it up. I think it is making our job easier because it's really to discern. Like once you're awake, man, it's like you see from a different lens, different perspective, and it's a non-bias and just a better place to, you're not thinking from emotion or because of your friend's not a liar or none of that. You got to set your egos aside, and the only thing that matters here is the truth. That's what we're after, and that's what we're fighting for, and that's and that's what's going to get us to the promised land. That's what will set you free.
The ego. I like that you said that, Justin. The ego is really what a lot of people are enemies with, is their own ego and being able to swallow their own pride and not be an egotistical person. I'm so glad you said that, bro.
Yeah, a lot of people are in it for the wrong reasons, like monetary or clicks or likes or, and these Globers, they get that, they see that and they smell on it and pounce on it like their prey, because to them it's all entertainment. They're not in it for the right reasons. They're in it for the money and the clicks. So they're over here attacking people who have good hearts and are trying to save the future of humanity's children here, So I think if they understood that on a higher level, then they might reconsider on how much trolling they're doing. Because it's not a game to us. Do they not understand that? And it's not about Earth being flat. It's not. There's so much more to it than the shape of the damn Earth.
Yeah. Yep. That's just one aspect of it. That's a huge aspect of it. But it's part of it. It's part of the deception that goes on so many different levels, man. There's so many levels.
What's cool though, guys? This is why we have these conversations, and it's good to have different views and different information coming in, because there are so many aspects to understand and to be able to communicate and get the point across quick. So yeah, I appreciate you guys being on, and Vikka for throwing the show, and everybody hanging out in the audience. Really good to be back and having a good time here. So yeah, it's not easy, man. We got our hands full.
Yeah. We just got to, I think it's important because we kind of fly by the seat of our pants and let whatever happen when, if this is a war, and when I keep saying war, I'm not talking about shooting people, because people, want to jump on that and act like
it's a spiritual
we're
war.
bad
It's
people.
a mental war, bro.
But it's just important for us to train You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying,
Yeah.
like a militia. I'm just saying we need to have some form of tactic, some type of mutual understanding of where we're going to go from here. What should we do? How should we address this? Or, you know, I just think that we allow the enemy to infiltrate, and that's why it's important to, kick a lot of these trolls and have a lot less tolerance for it. If you're here intellectually, I don't care what you believe, as long as you're here with an honest intellectual outlook and the right reasons, then I'd love to conversate with anybody. But we're being
Sure.
ran by trolls for a decade, dude, a decade.
Yeah.
And these people, it's just nothing but entertainment to them. And they're doing a real good job of just steering us off track and always have us fighting each other and not presenting what we're presenting right now, which is very important.
Nice.
It needs to be seen from a proper perspective, because a lot of people just get here, and if they're not flat earthers, they're not going to give it the time of day when all they see is fighting, and that's their whole intentions. It's all about division, and we're growing. We'll always grow because the truth is never gonna be
Yeah.
suppressed like it has been. It's
The truth will
inevitable.
always win too,
Truth
bro.
is
It's
It
like,
will.
truth will just stay truth no matter what.
right.
Right. But it's just being prolonged, and it's just harmful to humanity as a whole. Because, if any of y'all have children, then you could relate to the grooming and how hard it is to maintain, ideology in your children, because it's all about bandwagon and peer pressure, and they're susceptible to the internets and the propaganda, dude, and they'll spend 20 hours a day on the phone, and or 10, 15 hours a day on their phones and at school listening to alternative opinions rather than the parent. The parent only gets a few hours a day at best because they're so busy in the
Yeah.
slave world trying to pay their bills.
Right.
And that was the design that happened on purpose too back in the day, to make that balance go off, take the mom out of the family situation, put them to
Right.
work.
Destroy that nuclear
Then
family.
they grabbed the kids younger and younger, and bro, that whole situation was like a win for these guys.
Strategically.
Very
Strategically
strategically, man. With
100%.
how media and propaganda and these stars that people worship, that'll do anything they say. It's crazy, bro. It's nuts, man.
Very powerful, when they got us staring through that phone 6, 7 hours a day,
But I gave up my phone in the summer. I got busy and I needed to do this project. I was under time stress, and I had to put my phone down, right? And then I enjoyed it, right? I got things done that hadn't gotten done,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow, this, and I'm not a stranger to that. I dropped off social media for a couple of years at a time, once or twice. And I just love that downtime, bro. It's
It's
very
needed.
rewarding, and
Therapeutic.
it really is. I'm not subject to any of that stuff. I don't.
Right.
I do. You know what? Lately, I started watching movies again just to see what I know now, looking at things. So that's kind of fun. But as far as like news or anything like that, I'm like, nah,
No thanks.
yeah, nah, but
Yeah.
my social media interactions have been like almost zero, and
That's good
sorry
though,
guys, I'll
King.
be back, but that's just what
That's
it is
good.
right now.
You got to
I'm
unplug a
enjoying it.
little bit. I do it sometimes. I don't do it as prolonged as others, but it's needed. You got to be able to unplug for a little bit and do the grounding, do the earthing, do your meditations.
Yeah,
it may be multiple days, it may be multiple weeks. However long you need. It's listening to the body.
Right. And ultimately, it is a solo journey, spiritual journey, and it's all about, where you're going to be and how you've grown. And, the internet is the yin and the yang, because it could be used for very good reasons and it's very harmful at the same time. So it's just a matter of perspectives. When you go in to use it, what are you using it for? Are you playing your video games, or are you trying to have conversations like these,
Yeah, nah,
As I was
these conversations are
mentioning,
nothing.
as I was mentioning before, in the start, like we were almost a month without podcasts.
Mm.
We weren't doing any podcast because we needed that break, right? That doesn't mean, as I said, we were like on the beach, like enjoying some holiday. No, we were a break from this, right? Because it's all energetic and frequency, and all right, and uh, all accumulating, and everything needs to be processed. And as I said, also, at sometimes the absence is required so that the people also
Absolutely.
understand, right?
Yeah,
It's
right.
very refreshing, man. I tell you, you know.
It's a recharge, you know.
Yeah.
You need it. It's healthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we have a True Earth Whisperer with us. How are you, brother? Welcome. And
What's up, Sonny? Welcome.
Hey,
What's up,
thanks
Brad?
everybody, gentlemen. It's a
How are
real
you?
honor to be with you.
Oh yeah,
Same here.
appreciate you being here,
how
brother.
you doing?
Excellent, most excellent. Thank you. Greetings from Mexico.
Awesome. Welcome. Welcome.
Sonny, have you been listening for a little bit before tuning in and joining us, or are you just now coming into the conversation? Just wondering.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And you know, I'm definitely a behind the scenes kind of guy, and have been for a good 10 years. And perhaps there's some of us that can relate, and you know, just kind of sitting at the back of the classroom and absorbing, and you know, just doing the whole trivium thing, right? So collecting and embodying knowledge, and really just stepping forth now up to the front. And I think you know, the time feels ripe to do that.
That's good. That's good. That's a
Yeah.
very smart way of doing things. I implement that in increments periodically. You know, for example, the whole Charlie thing. You know, like I had to have a little bit of flexibility when it first happened. I had a couple thoughts on it, but then I let some time go by and let people say what they have to say and present what they wanted to present, and you know, let things fluctuate a little bit. You know, you have to absorb things, you know, while still maintaining your mindset, but you know, new information comes in and you got to step back, let it happen. And it's a combination of all those things, you know? So,
Yeah,
wow.
congratulations on that book, Sonny. Sonny's just putting out a book, just releasing. I got it personally already and started reading it. It's really good, and recommended to everybody. Just congratulations on that, Sonny.
Well, Justin, you know, you're one of my early readers, and I totally appreciate my early readers. Those are the ones that you know, step up. That's 80% of success is just showing up, right? So I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate it. And I'll definitely do my part on, you know, sharing. And like I told you, I don't know if you got the message I left in your chat, but tomorrow I'm having a live stream, and I'm actually going to give away 3 of your books in a giveaway to whoever likes to, you know, is into reading, because I don't want to give to somebody who's just going to put it on the bookshelf. But also, I wanted to congratulate the new album that who was Zetetic Truth Tube just put out. He's in the chat here. He's got a new album that's mostly flat earth related. It's really good, and I highly recommend it if y'all haven't heard it yet.
Music?
So, yeah, Zetetic Truth Tube.
Ooh,
It's really good.
Spotify?
It's awesome.
He's got it on his channel. I'll drop his link in the channel here.
Drop his link. I want to check it out. I want to
It's
get
well worth it.
more flat
It's
earth
good,
music,
man.
for sure.
It's highly recommended. Yeah, I'll go ahead and drop that in the chat. But yeah, go ahead, guys. I appreciate you coming up, Sonny.
Thanks,
Oh,
you
yeah,
guys.
Sonny.
You know, yeah.
Go ahead and tell us about your book, or if you whatever you want to share, or where to find and everything. Go ahead.
Yeah. If you could put a link in the
thanks,
chat,
Vikka.
it'd be awesome.
Well, thanks for the opportunity, you guys. Really appreciate that.
Sure.
Yeah, you know, I think I can, you know, hopefully find some common ground with some people in the audience too, and that we're just, you know, there's a type of fatigue I think someone would start to experience over a period of time. That's just, you know, it's been getting your attention, and if you feel that you might have the power to do something about it, and you got a little bit of gas left, to just really give her, so yeah, this book kind of sprang from a deep ache that I experience, and I'm sure many of us do. And without going too much into it, I want to bring forth. It's actually an ancient practice of seeking truth between two people, and it's a partnered practice known as a dyad. And within a dyad, there's some rules and some protocols. And when two people can come together and agree on these protocols and go deep within what's known as a koan, and in the Buddhist traditions and Zen, these koans were non-answerable questions, right? Just sort of a question with no answer, an instruction, a contemplation, like what is the sound of one hand clapping kind of thing. And you find one instruction that you both drill deep on together over and over on the same instruction. And for me, I guess I just wanted to bring this into the whole debate arena. It's certainly in its grassroots, but I see it as a much more healthier, non-toxic approach to debate and perhaps teaching others through these dyad protocols. So the example I bring to in my book has everything to do with True Earth and my experiences in my Flat Earth awakening, my experiences with truth and seeking truth, and just being alive for the last 45 years. So, and as well, experiencing a degenerative muscle condition. So I bring that into a couple of chapters too, and just share how that was the catalyst to my truth seeking, my whole journey of self-awareness. So yeah, thanks a lot. I just launched it today. I did a pre-launch, with my early readers, and today was the official launch here on the fall equinox. And I'm just really honored to be able to come up on stage here and be able to share it with everybody. Thanks, Vikka, Gene, Justin, and my other brother, Psychedelic. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Wow,
Thank you,
thank
man.
you, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Congratulations, and yeah, I wish you the best with that. I gotta get a copy. And
Yeah, pick that book up, guys. It's already I've just started it, but it's already good. And I just like the approach that you're taking, because in the world that we're in today, it's all, debates are, pointless and nobody ever learns, and it's just an arguing match. And I really like your approach and ideology in where you're going with it.
wow,
Thanks, Justin. Yeah, that's a great reflection. Thanks, man. It didn't kind of translate at first, I don't think. I put a couple of videos out just to sort of test the waters and see where everybody was at. Because let's face it, some people still want to fight. They want to dig their heels in, and they want the war to continue. But I truly believe that we have a real weapon of peace and a real possible change to build some bridges again. So
nice.
Hit the nail on the head, brother.
Absolutely, man. Congratulations on that.
Got my
Absolutely.
attention.
hey, thanks a lot, you guys. Thank you. It's all up there on Amazon. My name is Sonny Davis, and you would just have to search True Earth Whisperer whatever country you're in,
Yeah, I'll go ahead and drop your link as well.
Yeah, I just followed your YouTube just now.
Oh yeah, JJ,
Beautiful.
you're a mod. You can drop his link here in the chat.
Writing that stuff down.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and drop his link right now.
Cool, thanks. Justin, the reason why I was asking you about where to find you is because I got you mentioned 1,000 years and being added on. I have a banknote where, it's like a check, sort of, and the denomination for the year, the number one for the denomination and the year are two different prints. on
Uh,
1
is,
mil.
is one an M? Because the M means 1,000 in the Roman numerals, and we can clearly see that they've done that on structures and buildings where they've added an M. And
Right.
it ties into the Satan's Little Season, which I'm kind of ignorant to. I've just kind of started barely listening in on that stuff, but it's
Right. That's really
a lot
interesting.
of it lines up, and it seems pretty interesting to say the least. I mean,
Yeah. Well, now this thing, I put it like this, where the date goes, they left it blank except for the 1 and the 8, I think. The 18 is because it's from 1865. So you could handwrite in the year, the last 2 digits of the year. You know what I mean? So the 1 doesn't look like the 1 in the 100, where the $100 is
right.
written down on the bottom and
Hmm.
it's printed on the bill. So it's not like somebody wrote that in. That's printed, and I'm just pointing out that the 1 in the 18 where it's for 1800 looks more like an I than the 1 in the 100 does. I could tell you that, which is
Yeah.
kind of cool. It's on one document right there. That's something just a little weird with that.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
From the
Yeah, you
Monte
see.
Urbano map. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Vika.
It's from the Monte Urbano map that date being manipulated.
Was it 1,000 years? Or not sure? Do you know,
Oh yeah,
Vika?
that's what it looks like. There's a difference. It was maybe 800, 1580 something, right? In
Uh-huh.
place of
Yeah,
instead of
1580
1500
something.
is 500 something. So it's much more older.
Huh. Interesting. Did you say that's on the Monte map?
Yeah, on the
Yep.
Monte Urbano map.
Gotcha.
Because they were saying the map is from 1580 something, but that 1 is not a 1, it's an I. So it's from I also was representation for Jesus in the old
Right.
times.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah, you see it
so
on
it's
some of
from
the old coins as well, right? Like some of the older coins have that as well, the I on there. And they
Yeah,
changed it to a 1 basically.
right? The I or the J.
Right.
A lot
The
of
J is
tombstones, old cemeteries have tombstones that look like that.
right. I've seen that
And
as well.
some buildings like, the books in the arm of the Statue of Liberty. It looks like the M looks just slightly a bit too far left. Like all the numbers
Uh-huh.
for the date are pretty solid, and the spacing is nice and even. And you might not notice it. It might not mean anything, and then maybe it's a little closer than I'm thinking, but it looks like it's slid over to the left a little bit too far.
Yeah. Trust your instincts on that one.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So
Absolutely.
oh yeah,
yeah,
guys. So getting back a little bit to what we were speaking earlier with the TFE, right? Same like Robbie Davidson and Patricia Steer. Then we had Mr. Jaren, who was put up there with his bots account. He's right now crying for the views. He's saying he's not even getting 1,000 view, and he was also making fun of like flat earthers are not getting even 10,000 views. Which hole do you live in, Jared? Right?
All right, bro. I don't even care about views anymore, man. I just care about the connection that I make with people. Like I said earlier, I just want to connect with the people who want to learn and, just
quality
have
over
an
quantity, bro.
intellectual conversation.
100%. Yeah.
So
You know,
this is the thing. He was there from almost a decade pretending to be a flat earther, coming in the hit piece behind the curve, right? And then screwing the community with all his money grab and cons in every different way, and now appearing in this another psyop. And he wants the people to believe that he's honest. So Robbie Davidson, Patricia Steer, Mr. Jaron Campanella, right? So how many years this stage show was going on, right?
Right.
So that is the reason of the title. Thanks to Mr. Will Duffy, that we can call out these clowns directly. It wasn't that we weren't seeing the bullshit from a very long time, including Mr. Austin, right?
Right.
From a very long time.
Well, you know
So
what is good though, bro, because I don't think
Exactly.
I don't think that their failed experiment took so many people away from us, though. I think it did the opposite, if
but this
anything.
is what I'm trying to say, Gene, right? Shifty Eye Shady. The name says it all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah?
He's a good
Melodome.
dude, though. I mean, I got
Yeah.
nothing against him. I met him twice,
Yeah, I don't know who are these people,
but
but
you
like
know,
what did yeah, so already was from there from a very long time. Who else are there who flipped?
um, the other guy, Craig. I knew two of the guys that ended up going back to the globe Earth. Not like I knew them. I met them at the Zulu get together and with Tony Coriolis, Lowry, Nicole, who else?
Well, if you're intellectually honest,
NDB.
it's impossible to go back to the globe. I don't think that's just an option. I think it literally is impossible because once you know, you can't unsee what you've seen, and
Yeah.
So that
there
means
is
there are
no
plants,
evidence.
JJ, right? That means
Exactly,
they were plants.
100%, 100%.
Interesting.
It speaks volume, man. You can't. You have no evidence to support a globe. It doesn't exist. There is no
Yeah.
curvature, and anybody that's going to
I
claim
know.
otherwise is fallacious. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty
Well,
simple.
I don't know. If anything, I would question, their own thoughts about their own thoughts. Maybe they're like, well, I was taught this stuff. I thought it was flat, but they're showing me that what I was taught was real. I really don't know. I'm just kind
You
of
don't ever
guessing.
think it's flat. You know it's flat, man.
Oh yeah.
In order to become public about being a flat earther takes a lot of courage and a lot of outcasting and hate and all the things that come with it. And you're not going to
Yeah.
come publicly and try to, announce that you're a flat earther unless you're very comfortable and understand that you've done your due diligence, And that's the difference between us and them and regurgitation and being able to think and speak for yourself. And you don't lose that once you gain it. And so I thank God that all these things have occurred to expose these people because I was very gullible, just like anybody, man. I'm just a human being, and they do a really good job of earning your trust and then steering you down the wrong road later, and people would never think they would lie because they spent 10 years saying everything they wanted to hear, but then they're just they overcommit to people, and at the end of the day you trust nothing but the facts and the science, the real science, not the pseudoscience that they subscribe to.
Yeah,
It has
brother,
to be demonstrable.
this channel was never about calling out any flat earther ever. Not even fucking
Right.
globers. We didn't even time to even fucking speak about globers.
Yeah.
Forget about flat earth, right?
We were talking all kinds of great stuff.
But it's come to a situation that you cannot keep quiet. So who have created that situation? These people by themselves by doing this psyop. We didn't say it. So the people maybe who are new here to this channel might think, oh, this channel is about speaking about other flat earthers, what they're doing wrong. No, never it was. So we are not going to ignore this bullshit. Now that we have started calling it out, we're going to skin it up and we're going to make sure these people are called out for what they are doing and that the community understands too. It was never about that, but it's fucking required now.
Yeah, that's part of the training that you're speaking of that we need, because we need to stop just letting them dictate where we take our conversations and our movements. They're very good at just diluting it, and that's why it's important.
Exactly.
It's just about truth. That's all. And if we can all be intellectually honest and sit down and have adult conversations and not be here to just troll or for clicks or likes, and you're on the right page, and we're gonna make milestones. We're gonna meet milestones. In my opinion, we just need to have these conversations and be able to get to common ground, because we can't even do that with these people because they're not they're not natural. It's not organic. These people are either paid for or who knows what the hell they are, but they don't have the same ideologies or anywhere close to the reasons we're in it. They don't seem to understand the totality of why we do what we do, why we think how we think. That's what it seems like to me.
100%. 100%.
All we're looking for is the truth, and I'm more than happy to accept the truth regardless of how bad it hurts. It may not be pretty, but ultimately at the end of the day, that's all we ask for. It's not too much to ask either. Crazy world to think that the truth is too much to ask for. You can't handle the truth, man.
You can't handle the truth.
That's why it was given the way it was given, right? So it's the people have to see the big picture. This whole movement has started with gatekeepers.
Yeah. In the end, it's gonna be their downfall, because they do all these things to attempt to keep the narrative alive. But at the end of the day, more and more people wake up, and every time that they do it, I'm just grateful. They just keep it up, man, because they just expose themselves more and more, and people are gonna see it for what it is. They can fool some people sometimes, but they can't fool all the people all the time. And we have too many eyes and too many truthers and too many seekers, to fool us all. And I think it's only a matter of time before the truth will prevail, and it will be their downfall. They can't keep it up forever. And the more they try, the worse it gets. They're committing more crimes, covering up the crimes they committed to cover them up.
Yeah.
It's just it's pretty obvious that these people are just deceivers. I mean, how many hoaxes and psyops do you have to catch them on before you understand that? Right?
Yeah, there are many more shady characters too.
Right. And just event after event, it's like every year that passes is just new events that are proven to be, just psyops in some way, shape, or form. And when I say psyop, people act like, oh, well, it's not always fake. Well, you know what? It's always an
Right.
alternative motive. People do get killed. People do go to wars and fight and die for the wrong reasons. But does that mean that the war was actually for the reasons they told us? And, is it worthy of giving all our money to fight these wars? When
Exactly.
really the alternative motive is it's always banker wars and always lies and deceptions. And, it's we
There's
want to act
always
like
something there's always a hidden agenda.
always.
There's always a bigger picture, and there's always more subliminally underlying than what's on the surface.
Right.
Always.
Very indoctrinating. Once you can realize that we're not independent nations and they all work for the same club, then you realize that these countries aren't really fighting these wars like they say they are. They'll sit there and script them and make it look like they are and write his story, but that doesn't make it a fact. And they're just all pieces in the same pod ultimately. Birds of a feather and two wings of the same bird. They play good cop, bad cop, and people buy it, because they get to control it with the mainstream narratives and the internet and everything else that comes with that.
It's all business. It's all about the money, and
Yeah.
and that's another part of the bigger picture is that people don't realize that where we live is just a corporation, man. It's just a company that's owned by the people over there in Europe, in Britain. It's just we just are
You know
just
what it
so
is?
fortunate to be having to go through and live through it.
Uh-huh.
To be
The
the
only
one
thing
to
I can
wake up
see,
to it.
the only thing I can see being real about it is like, yeah, maybe one side wants to run it one way, the other side wants to run it the other way, and they might argue about that, but they don't care. They get to look at where we are. They're gonna win. They win. They push us in these win-win situations for them, where we're not. Like I said, they tighten the ropes constantly on us. Those are financial ropes, mental ropes,
Yeah, and it leaves nothing
physical ropes.
organic. Nothing's authentic anymore when they literally script, reality. It really screws with the way that we live, right? When you're sitting there being missteered and guided in wrong directions, and everything has somebody's hands in on it, and Authenticity is dead. Nothing is natural like intended. Like our creator intended.
Yeah, when you truly deeply think about what the hell is actually going on, you have no choice but to come to that conclusion. As bad as much as I hate to say that, like I find myself a lot of times just wishing, that things were different, and that a lot of people could realize these things that we're talking about, without even having to bring it up to them, just be able to see through the BS, to be able
Right.
to see through all of that misconception that's
Yeah.
being laid right out in front of them.
Right.
Of course, it takes time to get to that level of power mentally, but it's like,
Mhm.
man, I mean, like some of these people, dude, I'm just like, I want them to get up there,
I notice a lot of them are turned off because it's like, oh, if you believe one side, if you believe Earth is flat, you pretty much believe every
Yeah.
conspiracy
I've heard
theory there is.
You're
But
a full retard.
right, and that's by design too, because the reality of it is yeah, everything is, I hate to say that because I don't even like subscribing to everything's a psyop, but they control and write history, man, and yeah, it's all tied. All those roads lead to Rome, so how isn't it connected?
Yeah, I hate to
And
say it, but I think I'm kind of almost black-pilled.
yeah,
Well, isn't that when you don't believe anything coming from them? And I don't. Anything
yeah,
coming out of Nav, I know it's got motive
right,
and an agenda behind it, and it's pretty much scripted. Live things might
yeah.
happen, but it's tightly scripted.
Yeah, they do
We
leave a
got it.
portion of truth in there to get you to, subscribe to it, and and to justify that, it's your ignorance for not seeing the truth. I think that they play that game, and it's all mockery, and they've gotten
Yeah,
away with it for so long. They're comfortable, and they're invincible, man. They're above the law. There is a two-tier justice
yeah,
system,
yeah.
and Lady Justice can see. She can see just fine. I
Some
guarantee it.
someone put the blindfold on her, I guess, maybe, right?
You got cataract surgery, bro. Because yeah, rules are for us, man. They're not for these people. They live as thou wilt, by the law of the land. So if
Yeah,
a wolf goes out into the woods and rapes a baby wolf, it doesn't get prosecuted and serves time in prison. Those are the types of laws that they live by. The whole judicial system is set up for the slave system, along with the money. In my opinion, I don't even think these people need money because they could just print it out. So if you're a part of
yeah,
that club, you got everything you want. Money means nothing, but to us, money is every ounce of the quality of life that you're going to have, in
pretty
this
much. Is
materialistic world.
right. The quality
So,
of the conditions of your world around you
yeah,
kind
but
of
to
revolve
them,
around
they're
money.
fine. They're fine because they've already sold their souls, and money is just a piece of paper. It's all it is.
No,
And
and they're doing all this, the old ancient secret, you know, secrets that we don't know, to create the world that they want, even though it's kind of evil for us. It's we're not in that club, but that's what they're doing. They're using those ancient ancient the ancient wisdom to create that, and if more of us were able to do that, that world could be over there or something. Yeah, sure, but not in this world.
yeah, at least being able to question it shouldn't be a crime. You know, like just ascertaining whether or not there's more land, and you're the dumbest, Neanderthal
I don't
deplorable that ever
know.
walked the face of the earth.
Have you seen a globe lately? Come on.
Yeah,
There's nothing there. Well, look at the globe. They got almost half of it is like the Pacific Ocean, maybe a couple other oceans. Almost half of it with almost no land. Like what? 80% ocean on half of the globe.
yeah, bending water. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah,
A lot
mind
of
blowing.
a lot of water out there.
Yep, and you can
No.
never replicate water bending at its surface. Water never convexes any large body, yet they want us to believe that 70% of it's a ball of water, around a sphere that's spinning, which, violates everything that we've ever, all your senses, and violates laws of physics
Right.
and centripetal force. Why wouldn't all the water go to the equator like it would if you tried to demonstrate water on a spinning ball? It all accumulates at the equator and flings off. But
Yeah, and the water would pick up the motion difference, the speed of the motion changes every twice a year with the orbit. You
It's
know,
actually laughable when you really question it, intellectually, honestly. It's laughable. It's
think
nonsensical.
think about how that water would react, like in the big, huge ponds and in the enormous lakes and the oceans, if the orbital speed really changed, started slowing down and then speeding up twice a year, which happens in what 3 months from now, I think.
Yeah.
It
Well, with all
starts to
these
speed up
motions,
again.
with all the alleged motions, how does water ever be at rest?
Bro, it's
Let me
crazy,
guess,
man.
gravity. You just say the word gravity and that hand dismisses all laws of physics and
Yeah,
reality.
it's the cure all.
Yeah, either refraction or gravity. Uh, yeah,
Refraction works, but only like to a certain degree, and it's nothing within what we're seeing, right? From what I understand. So
so
we
back.
just see way too far for that refraction. So that's impossible.
Yeah, they're screwed, man. That's why, you don't have to have some high form of education to be on the right side here, with what we believe is it's not even that we believe it, we know it from, practice and demonstrability, observability, measurability, it's like, and they
And your
want you to just hand
senses,
dismiss it,
bro.
your senses, man. But
Senses.
anything, if it doesn't match your senses, and that's a positive claim, and they have the burden of proof, and they've always failed, always. It's 2025, and there is zero scientific evidence to support that you live on a globe and or its motion. Zero,
I
zero.
know.
But yet we're going to go debate with them tomorrow about whether it exists or not. It's just circular reasoning at its finest.
It really is like the air moves because it's windy. No, it's windy because the air moves.
And our movement stays stagnant because the more we ascertain the people that aren't being intellectually honest, is they're winning. They're able to come in here and obfuscate and divert from, these conversations that we're having right now. Because
This is the
these
thing,
are what,
JJ. This is also
Yeah,
exactly, brother, because this is the
yeah.
thing. They are making people focus on bullshit, conning them, like ripping them, and taking away from real research, real progress, right? There's a
Yeah.
lot that the community can do for real progress, right? So
right?
this is their job to divert the attention to different things so that the real progress don't happen. Same bullshit, same thing that you cannot prove, right? So they're gonna parrot too. That's what we said we're always doing, just parroting shit, right? Not real experiments and real observations and real. No, that doesn't have interest, right? Being a protagonist, like conning people, asking people for money, just
Hmm.
because you think that you're telling the truth. How long, dude? How long the people have to see this bullshit? And how long the people are stupid, and the people stupid all these times and still fucking believing this bullshit, right? So thanks to Mr. Will Duffy again, because of this, that the people can fucking see, right? It was never about the truth with these people, right? Mr. Will Duffy, people think he just appeared out of nowhere like Michael Jackson, smooth criminal, right? Saint Duffy saving the globe,
That's great.
right? And going away. God was with me. Yeah, God was with you. So you do that shit so that the people, the true community can see and do the real progress and take out the garbage, take out the real garbage. And there's still a lot of garbage here to take out.
Hmm.
Things are going to come out more, right? And things are going to get wild also.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
I would
just
love to see
beginning,
the
really.
wildness. To be
Yeah,
interesting.
this is a very good step in the right direction. Once again, you're right. Thank you, Duffy. Because we owe him that, man. He comes out and tries to be a hero of a globe, and if anything, I think it's made us stronger. It's really shown us who's who, and it gets rid of all the bad apples and the people that are going to dilute the movement. And that's the last thing we need. We spent the last 10 years spinning our wheels arguing with these trolls, and that's why it's time to change our tactics and understand and take a different approach.
It definitely is a movement in a new direction, which I'm kind of curious to see how it pans out and unfolds, because for so long the entire flat Earth movement was always talking about the whole Antarctica thing, and now that that's kind of out of the way, just like how Vikka was saying, it's bringing more people to question it and to see through all of the bullshit. So you know, it's kind of it's bittersweet to see, you know, that there's a lot of people moving away, like strong people that was in the community, but yet we're also gaining more people on top of that, you know. So it's a very interesting time, and like how it's 2.0, it's flat Earth 2.0, moving
Right.
forward with new information, new people to represent, and I'm
sure.
interested. I'm curious to see how it's going to pan out.
And those people all played their part, you know. They did their whatever they did. You know, a lot of these people that I don't trust any, you know, at all, they taught me a lot, you know. And it's hard to not send people to go look at their content when they have a lot of good content, but they don't understand in the totality that they're there to steer you down the wrong road later. You know, they gain your trust and
Yeah.
then, you know, keep you, you know, just controlled. Opposition is all it is, you know. But really it's about the quality of these people. You know, I'd rather have, you know, half as many of these leaders that you know are just not trustworthy, you know. And that's one thing that is the greatest thing that's happened through all of what's happened, is that we're learning more and more not to trust anybody. Don't trust me. Trust your God-given divine discernment and your abilities to have these attributes. You know, they're divine. And once you learn how to use them and think for your damn self, for crying out loud, and you know, those types of people are who we're left with. And this community is nothing but strengthened. When they try to knock us down, we get nothing but strengthened, in my opinion. You can't stop us, because we got God and we got the truth, and good luck defeating that. You know, they've done pretty well in the past, but this is a new age and new times, you know, and we're heading towards a precipice, and their days are numbered.
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. And this is the thing, right? The people are saying there is no bad publicity. It's enough. It's fucking 10 years of
Hmm.
bad publicity and hit pieces and things going wrong or people making fun.
They play it like a violin. They play us like a violin for the last 10 years. You know, they try to. They do a really good job of it, and a lot of people ascertain it and don't understand who the true enemy is, and you know, just because, like I said, once you see it, you can't unsee it, and once you know their tactics, they use the same damn playbook over and over. That's why history repeats itself so often, is because they use the same tactics on whatever they're trying to do, regardless of whether it's political or geometrical or whatever lie they're telling. They got the same damn plays, and it's pretty obvious once you see it, you know, once you know the enemy and who and why. Important.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so Duffy's done, huh?
Yeah, he said it, man. He said he's not going to spend any more of his time and energy on anything that has to do with talking about the shape of the Earth. You know, and like going back to what I mentioned it earlier. I just seemed very, very skittish. You know, the fact that the way he admitted how he got into it was, you know, he had a friend on Facebook that had mentioned something to him that basically sparked the idea, and then it kind of you know, grew up when he seen that debate a few years ago between Odell and the other guy, the other church preacher.
Greg Locke. Yeah.
Yeah, Greg Locke.
There's a lot more going on psychedelic in this. How he, if people pull the string, you're gonna see. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's just very, very show like, you know. It's very, very somatic, very theatrical. The way that it all panned out. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't very authentic, it wasn't very genuine, it was very very scheme like, in my opinion.
Yeah. And if you noticed about the final experiment, the second they allegedly landed over there, which whether they did or didn't, the second they get there, that's all they did the entire time they were there was trying to prove that they were there. Like if you notice that they didn't even do any real science, they went there for an observation to begin with, and just relied on the Globers to get all this data, air quotes, that I haven't seen really. I've seen a couple hit pieces and shenanigans, but nothing that's legitimate, to prove the claim that there's a 24-hour sun. And they spent the entire time, if you go back and watch any of it, that's all they do is try to prove to you that they're there. That's it. And that's pretty telling in itself, because if I was there, I wouldn't spend my whole time just trying to prove it. It would speak for itself, wouldn't it?
Yeah, really.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
and Duffy was saying it was his last gig, but he recently put a video out praising Steven Alonso, like the most trustable flat earther.
He did. Yep. Alonso posted it on his Facebook. Dude, Duffy was giving him props, just
right.
Because he was playing around all the time before they went, when they were there, when they came back. So Steven Alonso is there.
Gave him
awesome.
awards, even while they were out there in Antarctica. Steven won all of the challenges, all of that stuff.
Yeah, that's a little red flaggy. And then you have Weiss, he's going to back and say there isn't a sun, but obviously he has a bias because his app, he would never ever say there's a 24-hour sun down there, because there goes his money, But even Jaron, like he's only had like one video about flat earth since he's been back in 9 months, 8 months. And, talks about aliens and religion more than anything. He had one video. It was the flat earth comeback. And I promise you, it didn't go very well. But flat earth didn't go anywhere. What are you coming back from in the first place? And this is Witz's channel. So I don't know. It's Jaron thank you, Jaron, for being so damn obvious as well. Because I'm a sucker too, man.
It's too obvious, right? So we are happy that Jaron is out too, right?
Thank you. Yeah. I'm just grateful that they're all exposed, and the people that go still today will go and fundraise for them. It's just more telling of who's who, and because it's really hard to discern who is who, and you've been with people for years and years and years, and you start to trust people, and and then now we're finding out, well, why are they sticking with this guy? It's just everything tells a story. It's like reading poker faces at a poker table, like every move, every action, every call, every bet tells a story of what their cards are. You see what I'm saying? So you just got to be able to have that discernment, and you'll be able to see it for what it is. Realistic.
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. This is the thing, guys. We are almost 3 hours or something after the break we took of this month. Yeah, I think it's good for tonight. This is a freaking psyop, and the people who are supposed to be exposed, they were exposed, and it's time for the people to see the bigger picture, all the things that happened, all the hit pieces, how things rolled out, and see what's the real problem. We are not only have to go against the Globers and the controllers, we also have to go against people within our community pretending to be flat earthers. So the fight, the struggle is fucking real, because the truth is really important, what we are fighting for. So we're going to have it totally in us, not only around us. These kind of people and agendas and gatekeeping and disinformation and deprogress and ridicule, and so it's time for the people to see it, right? And separate the shit and see. When you see the signals of the people, what they are fucking saying and doing, and whom they're still pushing. So yeah, we'll have last out for tonight. TFE. Thank you, Mr. Will Duffy.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vika, for having me on, man. Thank you, Gene. Thank you, Psych. I appreciate the combo, man, and much love to all of you. I look forward to the next one, brother.
Pleasure
And
meeting you,
you know,
Jay. We'll
at the end
talk
of the
soon.
day, all this is just making us stronger, and that's a fact. Our discernment, our ability to use our senses and our divinity, our God-given abilities to, just for these reasons, and what we don't fall for and what we learn and even what we do fall for is only gonna, be the stepping stones into becoming more enlightened and stronger in this movement, to truth. That's all that matters is the truth. And it's imperative for the sake of the future of our children and humanity. So I thank you guys again, and much love. I appreciate you guys.
But yeah, thanks to you too, brother, for what you're
Thank you,
doing,
Jay.
and yeah, and also calling out, brother. It needs you. It requires balls to tell the truth sometimes, even it's the people don't see it like that, or they try to attack us because we are trying to call it out, but it's required, right?
Right.
So
And they're gonna
great
point
job
at
too,
you
bro.
and they're gonna point at you and act like you're just a hater when, that's the farthest from my intentions. I'm not here to hate or stir up a pot or any of that any such things. It's just about getting to the truth and an understanding of where we're at in this reality of scripted reality. So thanks again, guys, and appreciate all the kind words and yeah. Once again, congratulations to the new book for True Earth Whisperer and Zetetic Truth's new album, and you guys should check those out, man. And I'll be streaming
Alrighty.
tomorrow night. If you guys are interested, hop on. I'll be on 5 p.m. 5:30 Mountain Time. So I appreciate it, man. Take care, guys.
Cool,
Enjoy.
brother. Thanks for passing by. And yeah, anytime, jump in anytime you want, brother. Absolutely. Psychedelic.
Yeah, man, it was a pleasure to finally have another one of these talks, man. We got to have those breaks here and there. They definitely are needed. Also, with you, Gene, you got to step away sometimes, and like we said earlier, it's something that we need to do to come back to center ourselves and come back to source, come back to the truth of the fact that we are on an individual journey, but we're all here together. But it's a simultaneous thing. We have to stay grounded and remind ourselves of centering ourselves in the reality that we were born into, in the path that we're leading. So it's been a pleasure, Vika, as always. I'm always got love for you, man, my psychedelic brother. And yeah, hopefully we'll do this again soon, man. Thanks for
Oh
having
yeah,
me.
brother. Absolutely. Same goes for you. And yeah, whenever you want, brother. The conversation goes in different way, but it's amazing. It's good for the people to also we need to divert some topics. So it's great to have you and have those changes, and awesome, brother.
Yeah, I
And
think
keep doing the great work.
I think we have good chemistry, man. I think I like to think that I bring, some good talking points to the conversation. I like to contribute and, do my part, so I look forward to it again. If anybody is trying to find me on social media, you can find me on TikTok at psychedelicationism. I'm going to type it in the chat. And you can also find me on Instagram at psychedelicationism. It's a tough word, so I'm going to type it in the chat. And Facebook is a little different. My Facebook is Corpus Hermeticum, and I'm going to type that in the chat as well. So I appreciate you guys for having me on. We'll talk again soon, man.
Yeah, and also on TikTok, amazing clips, so much detailed information. As I said, flat out 2.0, 3.0, right? So yeah, brother, we need to take all this research and take it more ahead, brother. So yeah, come pass by anytime you want. There are a lot of topics that we could go into, combining all this stuff with all these ancient texts and everything. So awesome, bro.
Absolutely. Love you guys. Enjoy your night.
You too, brother.
Yep.
Thank you. Right back.
Gene.
Dude, what a great way to end a time off, a vacation, Wow. Great conversation with you guys. Thank you so much for for bringing it the way you do. Psychedelic, bro. So cool, man. You're awesome, brother. And always look forward to seeing you and having you on, you know? And Justin, it was great to meet you, man. Hopefully you definitely come back, man. It was what a cool conversation. You know? Yeah, man, there's so much other stuff in this world that, you know, needs to be flexed like muscles, you know, like your creativity and your spirituality. And to do that in different ways, learning it with you guys and talking about it with you guys, just I love it, man. And always looking forward to coming back. So, bro, I really love you for the show. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank everybody in the chat. I hope everyone had a really super great summer. We're starting spring tomorrow, so happy spring to everybody. Whatever season you're going to be in, whatever that might be, changing tomorrow. Good luck and have fun, and I hope everything is a party, you know, and this wonderful learning experience that we're trying to share and, you know, learn with each other, you know. So, you know, have a good week, everyone. Thanks again for showing up, and looking forward to seeing you next time, you know. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So I just sent you psychedelic one image. So that is going to be my next break or my visit, right? Just letting you know. I just sent you on Messenger. I don't know if you check.
I got
I'm going
it.
to send. Yeah, I'm going to send to Gene too. My next planned trip, a voyage, if you want to call it, would be to Shambhala. So yeah. Anyway, guys. Yep. Nothing more to say here for tonight. Just thank you, everybody, and especially thanks to Will Duffy, right, for doing that. So yeah, I hope you guys got it. And thanks, Psychedelic. Thanks, Gene, JJ, right, and Whisper Sunny was there, Tron, and yeah, and everybody who was here with us in the chat tonight, spending your time with us. It was great. And it's nice to be back and see you all and chatting with you all. And so it's amazing. It's amazing. More wild stuff coming soon. So see you guys next week. And this is Vikka Draziv signing out, guys. See you soon. Bye. Good night.
Good night, everyone.